Hey everyone, welcome back to our Spiel.dIgital content for Free League. I'm going to tell everyone that we've got an incredible Vaesen actual play headed your way from the fine folks at Effekt Podcast. If you haven't listened to the Effekt Podcast, you definitely need to. They put out some really great RPG content, and they focus a lot on a lot of the games that we put out. I'm also going to remind folks that if you are a fan of Free League Publishing and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button. Give us a little like. It helps us grow our channel. And also, if you hit that little bell notification when you subscribe, it lets you know every single time we go live or upload new content. We really, really appreciate that. We were really excited to grow this platform for Free League Publishing. So without further ado, let me just bring on Matthew. Matthew is one half of the Effekt Podcast.
The better half of the Effekt Podcast, Doug. The better half.
Is that true, Matt? Is that true, Dave?
No, but that's what I said when I was talking to the guys just before we went live. That I was the better half of the podcast.
Matthew,
he's an okay half.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on and being doing this session for us for Spiel.dIgital. I'm really excited to see it. I'm just going to hand it over to you. I'll be behind the scenes and I'll throw up some images.
But Doug, will you give us some players as well?
Oh, do you need players for this?
Yeah, we need players. I mean, I don't mind. I'd love to kill Dave, but
but enough about your real life aspirations, Matt.
But yeah, I'll be behind the scenes. I'll throw up some images and maybe some comments here or there. So if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the chat. I'll try to address those. But have a great session, everyone. I'll be back a little later.
Brilliant. Thank you, Doug. And I'll shout when I want an image. Hello, everybody. I'm going to get you all to introduce yourselves shortly once we have set the scene. We're going to be playing from the brand new, released just today, Vaesen, a wicked secret adventure book. We're going to be playing the very first adventure, which is called The Silver of the Sea. But because we're limited for time, the players and I have been having some text conversation in the background to cover the first couple of bits of the adventure. So we're going to join them when they have arrived in the town of, I'm just forgetting the town's name. I've forgotten the town's name. It's a really good start, Dave. Shut up. It's foul something. Foulbacker. And Doug, if you want to put up the map of the archipelago around Foulbacker, that would be really cool. Yeah, there we go. So Foulbacker is the town on the right-hand side of this map as you're looking at it. And as you arrive there, you are hurried somewhat to a sloop where there's a man waiting for you who you assume, because of his dog collar, he must be the priest that wrote you the letter that has brought you days journey. 3 days it's taken you to get here from Uppsala, and he welcomes you but hurries you onto the boat because the train was late. The boat needs to leave. The skipper of the boat is very keen to get himself a cargo of herring from your destination, which is Wrecker Isle. So you don't really have much time to introduce yourselves or to get on board before the boat leaves the pier. The sail is filled. You lean over to one side a little bit, and you start sailing out through the islands to Wrecker Isle. That's the only time that the priest who greeted you, Oscar Udgren, introduces himself properly and asks your names. And I thought we could go around. You could introduce yourself in your 21st century identity, and then introduce the character you're playing as well. Shall we start with you, Millie?
Me?
Yes.
Okay, exciting. Yeah, my name's Millie. I'm on Twitter as Millie the GM. I'm bringing back August Konismark from eating stew and getting very sick fame at Free League Showcase about a month ago. Month or so ago. And yeah, August is a writer and a bit of a disaster in everything else, I think.
And since we've introduced or reintroduced August, perhaps we should go straight across to Emily.
Hi, yes, I'm Emily. I am part of Level 1 Geek over on Twitch, and we have a website where we help people convert people to playing tabletop role-playing games. So if you like that, check it out. I am playing Inga, who played with August last time, about a month ago. Is that what we decided? Oh, time flies. Yeah, and she is a doctor, very proper and tall, and
who had some interesting identity issues, I seem to remember.
Yes,
in the last
a few identity issues, but nothing to worry about, of course.
And you brought a different servant with you. I don't know how you get through so many men servants, but
I'm a difficult person to work with.
who's your servant this time? Magnuson, his name is. Dave, introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. As Doug said, I am Dave, Effekt Dave on Facebook and elsewhere, and one half of the Effekt podcast with our fabulous GM. And I'll be nice to him in the hope that he's going to be nice to me. So I am playing Magnuson. I'm a servant. I am Dr. Inga's gentle lady's gentleman. I'm her butler, and I'm quite old. I'm sort of probably a little bit older than I am in real life, but not so much, I guess. And,
Not anymore.
And yeah, so I'm prim and proper and do everything in the right way, as a gentleman's gentleman should.
Brilliant, which just leaves one other gentleman on the boat. Tom, introduce Victor for us.
I'm Tom. I'm one of Matthew's regular players. And I'm going to be playing Victor Nystrom, who is a middle-aged priest, which I'm hoping means he's as effective as a young priest and an old priest combined.
How does that work, Tom?
Well, I'll figure it out. I'm sure it can't be that difficult, right?
So, Victor, you are probably the person that knows Oscar best. He wrote quite a long letter that everybody's seen, but can you précis it for us? The call that he'd put.
The general gist.
The
of
general
it is,
general gist. Don't worry too much about it.
There is a possibly godless place that needs God restored to it. I might have made that too brief. There's more
It might
details
be,
than that.
yes.
He's invited us to come to this island, which is called
Wrecker Isle.
Yeah, and seem to
Victor, you
remember.
completely left out the murder.
There's so much.
Inga, tell us about the
There
murder.
are some
No, to
salient
start.
points there that you kind of really skimmed over there, Tom.
Yeah, I think I abbreviated it a little too much.
Well, we know what the priest is focused on here, bringing the word of God to the
back to the
godless.
islands,
Yeah, of course. But Victor, there was someone who was found shot, ruled off as a suicide, but the good father of this area does not believe it is so. Thinks that these people are Satan followers, workers for Satan, and has instructed us to go root out the evil there.
Yes,
There's
particularly
a
because
couple people who are in particular suspicion, if I do believe I'm correct. A godmother, which I am blanking on her name, Abella,
I don't think. Yes, yeah, Bella is her
Abella?
name, godmother Bella, but
and the herring baron, Zacharias.
Zacharias Amundsen. Yes. These are the people he wrote of, and they're
And his
feeble-minded brothers.
Yeah.
Triple P's. Pete,
Are there three of them
Paul,
or two of them?
Ace.
Ah, well, that in there lies a tale, Dave.
That we're going to unravel in the next 3 hours, I suspect. Okay, fair enough.
You can ask some questions of Oscar. You've got about an hour to get to Wrecker Isle. I know, Inga, you've done a little bit of research on it back at the castle, but the rest of you might want to ask questions of Oscar. Let me tell you a little bit about Oscar. The person that died was his mentor, an older priest. So probably when all three of you were together, he was the old priest, you were the middle-aged priest, Victor, and Oscar was the young priest. But Carl Eric Headfist is the priest that died, and his young protege was Oscar Undgren. And like you, they are evangelists, all about bringing God to the godless. But yes, he is a very drawn and very serious young man. And even now on the boat, he is looking very stern and waiting for the voyage to be over. But he's probably approachable, particularly because he called you all for help. Or you can talk to the skipper as well, of course, but he looks less approachable.
I don't know. I'm nervous. Last time I spoke to people on a trip, nobody believed me, and I got very frustrated and angry about this. So I might have learnt my lesson. Maybe.
So you're going to stay quiet a bit, are you?
I think so.
If I may take the liberty, Dr. Inga, I will go and converse with the priest.
Of course.
And I'll walk up to him in a very like prim and proper, starched kind of way, as I do. And I'll say, what's his kind of title? Is it going to be father?
I'm not sure. I think in Sweden, actually, they refer to vicars as vicar, so you'd be known as Vicar Udgren.
Okay, Vicar Udgren. If I may take a moment of your time, now we've all gathered together.
Yes, I'm sorry I rushed you onto the boat. It's very impolite of me. Forgive me. You are...
I'm Magnusson, Vicar.
Thank you. The servant to... surely not the servant to August.
I am Dr. Inga's butler.
Right, very well. Yeah. Yes.
And
is there anything that Dr. Inga requires?
Well, we were wondering, she was wondering, in your letter, which clearly we found compelling enough to make this journey to come and visit you, you said you knew that your mentor was murdered rather than committed suicide, and you knew who did it, but you had no proof. Can I just ask, how do you know these people you've identified did the murder? Is there some circumstantial evidence you can give us?
Yes. I will admit that Carl, the murdered man, he did go to the island armed with a revolver during his last trip. About a month ago, this was, because they had threatened his life on previous occasions. This is why I know it is no suicide. And I know the man, of course. He harbored no thoughts of taking his own life, which is against the rule of God anyway.
That may well be the case, Vicar, yes. And the people who threatened him are this godmother person and the herring baron that you've mentioned to us.
Yes.
Nobody else threatened him. Did everybody threaten him on the island?
Well, the island is really populated permanently by Paul, Pete, and Pace. I just had to do that enormous alliteration there. I couldn't stop myself. And of course, their brother Zacharias and their mother, who is known as the godmother. All the other residents of the island are fly-by-nights. They're fishermen, they're traders. They come onto the island, they spend some time at the inn, they go away with a cargo, or they offload a cargo of fish they've caught.
So Vicar Carl was here trying to convince Paul, Pete, Pace, the godmother, and Zacharias. To convert or return to the godly fold, and clearly this was the reason he was threatened, was it? Or was there another reason?
Let me take you into my confidence.
Please.
This is a family that have recently done very well for themselves, but for many years, when the boy's father was alive, they were wreckers. You know what that means?
Well, I can have an educated guess, Vicar. Yes.
So they did not just salvage cargo from ships that had accidentally, by their own mistake, come aground onto these islands.
They lured them.
They lured them onto the islands. So they are a family of criminals. They profess to worship God, but there is no chapel on the island.
And again, Vicar, is there any evidence for their wrecking criminality in the past, other than hearsay?
It's known all about here. But
So no is the answer then. Okay.
So what else can I tell you? I can tell you that Carl's pistol has never been found. If he had shot himself and been discovered having shot himself, his pistol could well be in his hand, or if not, on the ground near where his body lay. And it was not there. He apparently fell into the sea and was washed up. But I cannot believe that the pistol is not in the... is at least been hidden or in the possession of one of the islanders.
I'm unconvinced about the floating qualities of pistols, Vicar.
Magnuson,
Well,
I
yes.
couldn't help but overhear. Did you say that the body floated to shore?
It was
Yes.
washed up, apparently, Doctor. Yes.
How in the world could they possibly have assessed that it was a suicide by these circumstances?
The coroner was killed by a gunshot to his head at point blank range.
I dare say that someone else could achieve such results.
Indeed. The coroner said it was at an angle that indicated a suicide, and more importantly, the bullet had markings on it that had proved. Carl was shot regularly at a local pistol range, so
He was shot regularly.
no, he shot. He took target practice,
Okay.
and the bullet was marked in the same way as the ones that that came from his pistol. But like you, I find it very difficult to believe that he could have shot himself, or that is enough evidence to say that it was suicide. But you see, although they have low beginnings, they have become very wealthy and have a lot of influence, not just on Wrecker Island, but on all the archipelago.
I have a final clarification on your story, good vicar. You said that you imagined that his gun would be close at hand, but also that his body floated in from sea. Did the body show water damage?
Yes. It had spent some time, I think,
Just
in the
being
water.
touched by the tide or actually being submerged for a long period of time. The
I
coroner
think-
should have been able to discern the difference.
I don't know whether the coroner made that clear, but yes, my impression was that it floated to wherever it was discovered. I'm unclear on even those details.
Then unfortunately, I suppose we cannot discount the pistol not being there.
Also, is this report from a reputable coroner, or is it from a coroner who lives here on the island
No,
alongside?
as I say, there are very few residents here on the island. It was in Falbaka that the coroner did his examination. Zachariah, they have created for themselves a very successful herring business in the last decade or so. So they have become politically powerful, not just on the island, but throughout the archipelago. But I would like to think that maybe they did exert influence on the coroner.
I have heard that the herring business is called the silver of the sea. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Have you seen a shoal of herring?
I have not. Is it so lucrative that it provides such wealth?
Here in this part of Sweden, yes.
Hmm.
For herring are a fickle fish. The shoals come and go, but for the last 10 years or so, maybe longer, the islands here have been rich with herring. Sailors come from all around to fish these waters, fill up their hold with cargo, sell one boatload here to the Admondsons on Wrecker Isle, fill up another lot and take it home to their home port. It has been it has quite the reputation, these seas.
It's a marvel.
For herring.
August, this sounds like one of your mystery novels.
Well, I wouldn't be so bold as to write everything down and publish it. I would never, not names would be changed.
Did you
probably.
realize you're writing right now? Your hands are still. It's fine.
How is that last novel, August? The Summer in December that you. Or was that
August in December?
Okay,
Summer in December by August.
No, because it's published by Hugo Collins. I don't use it on my own name, so it's August in December. It was a tragic tale, but everything was tied up at the end. It's done fairly well. I'm still broke, but we'll keep going. But yeah, it does sound an intriguing set of mysteries, and certainly with this sway, this political influence these folks have, certainly leads to some interesting possibilities that might ring true for the vicar here.
I wonder if there is any risk to Victor and Vicar Udgren for returning to this place if this family are so violently opposed to priests setting foot on their land that they're going to shoot one and throw him into the sea. I fear you may need some protection, gentlemen.
He opens his coat just a little to show you that in the waistband of his priestly trousers, he too now has a pistol.
Okay, I will do the same as well and show him mine, as it were.
I reveal that I have all the protection I need, and I pull out my crucifix. and I ask Oscar, can I speak to him for a moment? I just want to pull him to the side and say to him, how did I know? I assuming I actually knew Carl as well.
Yeah, I think you probably did. Yes, yeah.
I just want to say to him, my condolences. As soon as I heard, I knew I had to come. It seems like my colleagues here have been asking you some difficult questions,
Thank you.
and I know it's going to be difficult to truly examine this.
If we can save, you and I, just one soul on this island, I will be grateful for your intervention.
Indeed. I was curious, his body, is it still in the morgue?
Yes, but back in Falbacka, so we won't be able to examine it on the island, I'm afraid.
Okay.
And
the
if we'd had
population of
more
the island,
time, I would have taken you to see it first, but...
the population of the island is just the wreckers.
Yes, and a young woman staying in the inn who is working as a sort of maid of all work and barmaid at the inn. Her name is Justine. She comes from Falbacka normally, but
it seems like there's a limited amount of people that may have been involved in this. The limited possibilities.
Indeed, and I have heard. I have not visited the island until you arrived, and since I was last there with Carl. I have heard, though, that one of the brothers has gone missing, and it is my suspicion that he was the murderer and has now disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Very
in hiding
suspicious.
until the heat, as they say, in detective novels. They don't even say in 19th century detective novels.
They do now.
No, they do.
I think you just
They
coined
do
it.
now. That's a
They will
wonderful
now.
phrase.
Millie,
It's a wonderful phrase, Vicar. Yeah, right.
I do think we need to be cautious, though, Vicar Victor. As my old preacher in my youth once said, you're safer with the word of God and a gun than you are with just the word of God. So stay close.
Magnuson,
Right.
you've always been so violent.
Just prepared, Dr. Inga, just prepared, if I may take the liberty.
I have a feeling that I will be treating gunshot wounds by the time this adventure is over.
Only on bad guys, hopefully.
As you get closer to Wrecker Isle, you can see it is indeed quite busy with boats. It's a relatively small hard with a little bit of a pier brought out of it, or quay with a bit of a pier brought out of it. But there are boats offloading cargo of fresh caught herring, and there are cargoes of pickled herring and oiled herring and tinned herring coming out of a big yellow building right on the shoreline. There's even actually a schooner there looking like it's taking a big cargo of herring off to one of the major cities. And indeed, the captain of your sloop curses when he sees that, and he says, "Damn it. That means there'll be nothing for me to take home. I'll be here at least 2 days waiting for product to take back to Falbacher." And he gets even more grumpy and unapproachable than he was before. Even more frustrated, indeed, as he nears the quay, and he has to tack a couple of times to wait for a space where he can bring the boat in alongside. But then his crewmen are very professional. They tie it up. And I don't know what your sea legs are like, but you are now free to get off the boat if you so desire.
Yes, very much so.
And it's quite... It was an open boat, so it's not, not particularly unsheltered. You're there in the wind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll help Dr. Inga, obviously, down the gangplank
Thank
and make sure that's right. And as I'm passing the captain, I'll just say, "Good sir, what's the prevailing feeling of the Zacharias and his family on the island here?"
The oil baron, the herring baron.
That's the man. Yeah, I'm keen to explore the island and learn more about the dignitaries here.
People like him well enough, I think. He's a businessman, a very hard-edged businessman. I will say this: his mother owns the inn, and you will pay a lot to stay at the inn. I've been rude. If any of you want to sleep on the boat, when you find out the inn's prices, do come back to me. I will give you as many blankets as I can.
That's very generous of you, Captain.
But they've lived on this island for years. They pretty much run this business. They're fair in their prices.
Harsh but fair, are they, Captain?
Harsh but fair, shall we say? The fish is on the open market. They don't cheat either the fishermen or us. When it comes to the aquavit and the ale at the inn, I think you'll find it is somewhat expensive and of poor quality. Sophisticated, I might even say.
Thank you. I suspect Dr. Inga will probably wish to find better accommodations than your boat, but thank you very much for the kind offer.
Can I observe him to see if he seemed afraid of the Baron?
Do you want to do an observation test? Because we haven't actually
yeah, let's do
done
that.
this thing.
All right. I'll roll 5 dice here. And I'm using a digital roller, so that way I don't have the clicking, clacking sound. All right. I have 2 successes.
2 successes. No, not afraid. There's no sort of sense of fear around the Baron. They're, a hardworking man like the captain probably resents somebody who basically has made a living off the hard work of all the seamen thereabouts.
Sure.
There's that level of resentment, but no level of fear. No.
Could prove to be a valuable ally. Okay. Thank you.
So, do you make your way to the inn then?
I think with the description that the captain gave, we have to.
Okay, I will say, on your character sheets, on the right-hand side, you may find that you've got some numbers that refer to your resources and income. Can you tell me what your resources level is?
Middle class 5.
Inga, you can afford a room at the inn.
I too can afford one by that. Standard.
Excellent.
I feel like I'm probably going to be sleeping on the boat because I'm a 3, which is struggling.
You can't afford a room at the inn unless anybody pays for you.
I'm 4 stable.
Well, and obviously
But then
your
presumably
employer
the doctor will pay for me anyway.
Yes. But even if you had to pay for yourself, you could afford a room at the inn. But sadly,
when I see the look
cannot.
on August's face, I'll gently say to her, "I can make up the difference if you like, Miss August."
Oh yes, that would be great. That would be perfect. Thank you, Magnuson. I will obviously when my royalties return, because they will. With the next book, I will repay you as soon as I can. Yes,
That'll be wonderful, Miss August. But consider it a gift.
Oh, even better. Thank you. Yes.
Doug, would you throw up the map of Wrecker Isle for us to have a look at? And so you see the big yellow building I described is right on the shoreline. I'm pointing at it with my cursor, but of course you're not going to be able to see any of that.
Presumably.
There is a that's the sort of a fish processing factory that has been built up here. Mm-hmm. So fresh herring goes in at one end, and pickled herring, canned herring, oiled herring comes out the other end. Smoked herring probably as well. The next largest building is the Amundsen residence, and the smaller of the 3 buildings here is the inn itself. So that's where you're walking up to, and as you can see, there's nobody else. There is not a village here on Wrecker Isle. These are the residents.
Okay.
I imagine the smell is just powerful.
The
I
smell
was about to bring that up.
Awful. Yes. So this is. There's fresh fish being brought in. There's all these pickled and canned fish going out. But of course, there is waste. There are fish that don't make the grade that have just been thrown off the quay into the water, or even in great heaps beside the thing. So, yeah, this is a place that smells of rotting fish.
Lovely.
Nice.
Perhaps
Great.
leave this out of your book, August.
No, it hides the stink of conspiracy.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is why you are the writer and not myself?
Yeah. And then I make a point to actually write down what I've just remembered. That was a good idea. That kind of stuff. Well, with so little here, where do we go from this?
Well, let us get you rooms at the inn, says Oscar, and he marches there in a way that you kind of feel, he's not quite showing you the way. He's kind of eager to get there. So you have to hurry a bit with whatever bags you're carrying. I imagine Magnuson is carrying all the bags.
I'm carrying mine and Dr. Inga's, of course. I'm not carrying anybody else's.
I don't have that much. Most of it looks like it's papers stuffed in pockets.
Right. But either way, you're having to hurry a little bit to keep up with Oscar as he kind of stretches. He's got long legs and he's got a long pace, and he strides up to the inn with some sort of urgency, you might have thought.
Oh,
And inside, he introduces you. Could we maybe get the map of the inn up to show everybody? So you climb up some stairs on the bottom of this map. You climb up some stairs to get into the main room, which is the dining room. There are stairs that lead up into the rooms here. There's a kind of bar in this dining room as well. And next to the bar, on an old barrel of what might have been some liqueur or aquavit or something, sits a remarkable woman. Maybe we could quickly have the portrait of Godmother Abella. This stern-faced woman sits on top of the barrel, harsh eyes scanning the room, a shotgun across her lap, and an apron so stiff with filth that some say it might stand by itself when she takes it off for the night. And the vicar points her in, or points you towards her and says, "This is the person you have to negotiate for rooms with." But go straight away to talk to the barmaid, and maybe if we could have a picture of Justina. And he starts engaging her in conversation.
I'm going to gently sort of sotto voce whisper in Dr. Inga's ear and say, if I may take the liberty, Dr. Inga, he seems very keen for us to introduce to these people and share rooms in their place when he thinks they committed the murder. Is there something we ought to be concerned about?
quite strange, but I suppose keep your friends close and...
Very wise, Doctor, very wise.
I suppose let's have our first conversation with this individual. Hello.
Oh, and she names her price, which is exceptionally high for a room, very curtly, and says, "Are you staying long? How many nights? 2 nights? 1 night? 3 nights? We can't really do 1 night, but if you pay a premium, I can do it for that."
How, 2 nights then, I suppose. For now, and if our stay causes us to stay longer, I assume we can renegotiate?
2 nights. 2 nights, very well. And she names a price that is, frankly, quite steep for this. And then shouts to Inga. Inga breaks off a conversation with the vicar and passes you room keys for some of the rooms upstairs. I'll let you choose the ones you want to stay in. I'm not that bothered myself as a GM.
So, I'm so sorry. I don't believe we've officially met. I am Inga, Dr. Inga. If you have any malady, please come to see me. And this is Magnuson.
And you're talking to Abella there?
Yes,
the
Abella.
She says Abella Admonson and gives you a very limp-wristed handshake and says, "But people here call me Godmother. You may call me Mrs. Admonson."
Mrs. Abdson. I quickly wipe my hand clean after that handshake. And
I think very kind of like without noticing, I'll pass a little, and I guess Dr. Inga just wipes her hand and passes it back as if we've done this 1,000 times before.
Thank you. Is there any malady that has befallen? I know in factories such as this, people can lose fingers quite easily. Cuts get infected.
No, we have a very good safety record in this factory.
100 days since an accident.
Where's the board?
Yes, indeed. At least a month since an accident, I'm sure.
Sounds like you run a tight ship, and I'm trying to integrate myself with her a little bit.
She is really difficult to get to know.
Okay, that's fine. It takes
you can work on that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you hear slightly raised voices over by the bar.
Oh.
And it appears that Oscar is embarrassing himself a little bit. He's saying, "Come, there's a boat here. Come away from this place. Leave this den of sin immediately. You can find a job in Falbaka. Just don't stay here. This place will see the end of you."
What is happening there?
And
Victor?
is he talking to Justina?
To Justina, yeah. And Godmother Abella, she's got the attention as well. And she signals to a couple of heavy-set men in their, I guess, 40s, 50s. They're not great looking, so they're hard to tell. Doug, I wonder if we can have Pete and Pace.
Oh, boy!
They are not. They haven't seen a dentist in quite some time, and on Godmother's signal, they get up from their stools and saunter, grinning side by side, over to the vicar, and they say, "I think you've had enough. Come on, outside." And they frog march him, one hand under each shoulder, towards the door, and literally throw him down the stairs outside.
I follow him out to help him up. Pick up his hat if he's got one and dust it off, hand it back to him, and I want to ask him. So, do you know this Justina personally? I mean,
she is a lost soul. She has come here hoping that this is going to be a gateway to fame and fortune, or at least Gothenburg, and this is a terrible place to be. She will be corrupted by these Satanists. I'm sure she is. They only gave her a job so that they can sacrifice her at midnight or whatever it is Satanists do with a goat. I mean, I'm alongside.
They might want to use a dagger rather than a goat to sacrifice her, I would suggest. But I'm not familiar with Satanist practices.
But she is a pure spirit. I said earlier, if there's one soul we can save from this island, then it is hers.
Then
the others are lost to hell already.
We must keep a close eye on her then, make sure that she remains safe.
We must. Given that I am barred, I will sleep on the boat. But if I could ask you, Victor, will you keep an eye on her on my behalf?
Of course. And is it really safe for us to be staying in this inn?
In all honesty, no. But where else will you stay? If you wanted, you are a gentleman of means. I can see. Your good lady friend, the doctor, is also a very civilized woman. Does she want to stay in the herring shed?
Well,
on the boat?
The boat is a possibility, but I
cannot make you stay. I plead with you to stay on the island, though, and help me find the proof I need of the devilish practices these people are involved.
We will definitely be staying to find out what's going on here. I think as long as we keep a close eye on everything.
Whilst this conversation is happening, I'm going to take Dr. Inga's key and go and start preparing her room and making it suitable for her to occupy whilst everyone else is downstairs.
The room isn't brilliantly clean, but you can spend a bit of time
cleaning and making it livable.
Oh, can you believe that? Uncouth man, I say to the godmother. Abella Ackelson?
Admonson?
Miss Admonson. Can you believe the rudeness on him?
On the vicar? Yes. He's been accusing us of all sorts of things these last few months.
Oh, How could he? Like what?
I have no idea why he comes to the island. He should stay in his church in Falbaka.
Sometimes they just stick their nose where it doesn't belong, don't they?
Indeed, indeed. You
It
are
must-
speak.
I was gonna
She
say-
says.
It must come as quite an affront, one that has been, I assume the locals call you godmother because you oversee their spiritual needs and tend to them as your godchildren, if you will, and the
She's
man of
responding
God.
quite well to this flattery, and
Yeah.
slowly her grim face, not quite smiling, but relaxing a little.
And
So yes, she agrees with everything you say without actually necessarily lying.
and to have a man of God come and offer such an affront like that must be heartbreaking for you, good lady.
Yes, he's obviously infatuated with the with Justina. I mean, you know, he's a young man. I know what young men are like. I've been a mother to 4. I know exactly what they're like. But he is also a man of God, and it would do him well to remember that.
Do you tend to the spiritual needs of the island? I noticed there's only a few buildings, and perhaps there is Sunday worship or something that you take care of
Well,
to get you the name
remember,
of
it is
godmother.
really just us as a family that live here, actually on the island. Most of the people you see in the inn are just visitors. So no, we have no church for them, but we do say our prayers every night. We make our offerings, as it were.
Offerings. I'm so sorry.
Do we say grace before a meal?
Of course.
Immediately
Inga's mind
We're good
suspicious.
Christian
flashed
folk.
immediately to goat sacrifices.
Where are the goats? Where are the goats?
Yes.
Sacrifice a single herring.
One herring per
God
soul.
gives us many herring, as you have seen.
Can I
have-
sense motive on
This
that?
family have done well from herring, and it is God's gift, I'm sure.
Does she really think it's God's gift, though?
Well, you might be wanting to make an observation roll on
Yeah.
her saying that.
I would love to. No successes.
Yes, she does. And but at that point, I was just about to say before you were doing that, a very handsome man walks in, and Doug, can we see Zacharias? He's obviously younger than his brothers. He looks attractive, muscular, very expensively dressed. His thick, dark hair is beautifully styled with pomade, and his wide moustache is waxed to perfection. I'm only reading what it says here. His eyes are dark with very little white showing, which gives him a mysterious and intimidating look. And he immediately, on seeing you with his mother, comes over and begs an introduction.
Hello, I'm Dr. Inga. And I offered my hand. How clean does his hand look?
He looks very clean, and you can notice already that he's very washed and perfumed as well. So, given the stink of fish that you've been surrounded by, he comes with him with a cloud of pomade and of French perfume. And it might not be fresh air, but it's definitely sweeter smelling air around him than anywhere else. And he says, well, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mrs. Doctor. I'm confused about how to address a lady doctor. I guess just doctor would do.
Doctor would do just fine, yes. And this is August, a writer friend that I met on the boat.
Science and literature in two fair muses, he says. You must come to dinner. The food here, I will admit, at the inn is very fine for the sort of and he indicates some of the sailors that
Hmm.
for sort here, but it is not fine enough for palates or digestions as delicate as I'm sure yours are. Do come to dinner tonight at our house, won't you?
I don't think we could refuse, could we, August?
August has dropped a book and is just like, yeah, sure. That
Okay,
would be delightful.
excellent.
Yeah, just.
Are you inviting your traveling companions, or are you just going to go yourselves?
Of course, Magnuson will come with me. And
Oh,
Inga will look from August to the vicar with like a questioning look.
yes, yes, we
Victor,
should.
bad.
Yeah, yes, Victor, Victor. We have a friend with us who we would not like to leave to dine alone, because that is such a sad situation. Would there be an extra place?
He gives Victor a little bit of side eye and says, "Ah, another man of God," with a slightly forced smile. "Of course, sir, you are welcome. Your name?" And he extends his hand to shake yours. Your name, sir?
My name is Victor Nystrom.
Victor Nystrom. And what brings you to the island? Sometimes feel that there must be a church plot to build a chapel here or something. I've seen so many priests and vicars in the last couple of months. But you're welcome, of course. Sorry, I jest. I am sometimes very rude, I must admit. It is, of course, working with all these sailors and their foul tongues. I sometimes speak out of turn. Forgive me. You are, of course, most welcome. If any friend of Dr. Inga's is a friend of mine.
Thank you.
It seems that you've been plagued with men of God. No offense, Victor. It's just we saw one so rudely harassing a maid here.
Yes. His name, and he looks to his mother for a recommendation of the name. And I'm just looking up to remember what he thinks of him. No. It's, I honestly, I wouldn't call it a plague. Young men, summer, it happens. We get through so many serving girls, over the last decade or so. So if he whisks her off to a life of piety, well, then more fool her. That's what I say.
Sorry, August still snigger.
That is a wonderful way to look at it.
A life of pies and tea, was that? That sounds all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, are you one of these fine people's servants?
This is Magnuson, yes.
Yes. Well,
I
I
find
don't
that he is a joy to
normally
work with.
expect servants to speak until they're spoken to, but
It's a great pleasure to meet you, sir.
and I'm sure the pleasure is all yours. Mine, all mine.
You're very graceful, sir.
I do try.
And you try very well.
So I must go down to the sorting shed right now, but I will look forward to your company. It's, shall we say, 8, or is that too late? 7, half past the hour of 7?
8 will be fine.
8 o'clock it is. I shall look forward to an evening of company. And he makes his way out.
Great. When we're
Interesting
alone.
fellow.
Yes, absolutely. Doesn't he seem a bit out of place?
A bit.
Certainly smells out of place for the smells of this island.
I can't say I noticed it over the strong smell of rotting herring.
You might need to stand a little bit closer to him.
Yes, maybe you should stand closer to him, August.
Maybe. But and she looks at like how messy she is, because that's just how August is. And it's like, maybe I should go and Magnuson, did you get all the keys or just Dr. Inger's?
Yes, your room has been prepared for you, Miss August, and I hand the key over.
Oh, thank you. I go to hug him, but then remember I shouldn't hug Magnuson and leave.
Why shouldn't you hug Magnuson? What's wrong with that?
Because you're probably very neat and tidy.
I am.
And she's
And
covered with
August is
ink.
not.
Okay, fair enough.
August is not.
So you head up to your room. Is anybody conversing with any of the other customers or anything, or are we going to be cutting to dinner at the residence?
I'm wondering, Dr. Inge, if I may take the liberty, perhaps I could go and survey the beach where Vicar Carl was found to see if there's anything we can glean from the scene of the crime.
Was the body found here, or did it wash ashore?
It washed ashore, I think, near Falbacher. But
Did it? Okay, I assumed it was here. All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going back to Falbacher, Dr. Inge.
Oh,
Just pop over.
Time. No, okay.
Magnuson, doesn't it seem quite odd, the striking difference between the man we just met and his relations?
It seems entirely unlikely that they are related, Dr. Inge, I would suggest.
Perhaps he got his genes from his father's side.
Perhaps some sort of deal that was suggested to us. Okay, I'm assuming we're like alone at this point. Is that okay?
Well, maybe you've all gone up to your rooms and you're having a conversation
are conversing there.
Yeah.
Perhaps the whatever deal that the vicar was concerned about has also blessed him with the way he is.
Perhaps he has sold his soul.
Can I, if I may take the liberty, that does seem a tiny leap of logic there, Victor. From a man who's well dressed and a death on the island, sad as that was, to this guy is working for Satan.
The greatest trick he ever played was convincing us that he didn't exist.
Really, Vicar Victor, you are much more educated in these matters than I am, and I bow to your greater knowledge. Seems a smidge of a leap to me, though.
You speak wisdom, Magnuson.
Thank you, lady.
But we should keep our minds open, for we are here for a reason.
So, what do you want to do?
I'm good with going to dinner if everyone else is.
Yeah.
Should we cut to dinner? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Herring Baron's residence is a beautiful 2-story building made of wood. You notice there are a number of sailors sort of sitting on piles of nets and things on the quay, smoking pipe as the evening draws in. You get this distinct impression that some of them have sometimes ventured up to look at the gardens here and have been told not to. There seems to be almost an invisible wall where the sailors stay on the quay and they don't come up here. And you wouldn't be surprised that if you were standing in one of the windows of this house and you looked out down towards the quay, all the sailors would be hidden from view. You walk into a genteel world. It still smells of herring, of course, because you can't escape that. The smell gets everywhere. I don't know I don't think we've got a plan of the residence. It's a relatively small, well, for this island, it's quite large, but obviously for a proper townhouse of a gentle family, it's relatively small. It's got a drawing room, a kitchen, a storage room, some servants' quarters on the ground floor, then bedrooms on the second floor, and a third floor as well with some more bedrooms on.
Do they have staff, Matt?
Yes, yeah. There is. You are greeted as you approach by a housemaid called Laura. And she looks quite old. But she's because you're expected. She's very civil to you and welcomes you in and takes your coats and puts them in the cloakroom and gets you into the drawing room to wait for dinner to be called, and then you think disappears off into the kitchen to cook dinner because you don't think there are many more servants than just her. And in a short while, the herring baron comes down again and engages you in conversation.
If I may take the liberty, Dr. Inga, and if I may take the liberty, sir, it doesn't feel right for me to sit down and dine with you all. If I may be allowed, I will help your
quite right. I'm sure that Laura
in
will
the kitchen
will
help serve the food.
Food in the kitchen, yes, by all means.
And I'll go in the direction, assuming Dr. Inga, if that's acceptable.
I think that would be wonderful. And I feel like Magnuson and Inga probably have a little bit of understanding that like Magnuson will maybe chat up the staff and like get their perspective on things while we work the other side of the wheel.
Very well. Shall we cut while Laura's making the food? Then shall we cut to the conversation and help that Magnuson officer?
Yep.
So you'll notice that pretty much everything you're going to be eating tonight is herring, or herring based.
Can I do something to make it slightly more palatable?
Well, we're
fancier?
We're starting off with pickled herring. This is why I love this adventure so much. Dave knows how much I love herring. But we're starting off with pickled herring. So obviously there can be a range of crudités to go with that, vegetables and things like that. She immediately you've been so friendly. She sets you to chopping those with a knife.
Okay, I'll set to in whatever she's asking us to do. I'll keep my eyes open around the rest of the kitchen to see if there's anything that looks out of place or anything that looks unusual.
She keeps a good kitchen. She's obviously very experienced.
There's no like virgin's hearts in a jar, or
there are no virgin's hearts in a jar, no, or any jars of any particular part of anybody's anatomy,
except a herring.
Yes, there are herrings. Yeah, the herrings have been pretty much dissected all over the place. But no, good herring flesh. You can see jars of pickled herring, obviously, but there's salted herring. There's herring in oil.
Whilst I'm working, I'll start the conversation and reminiscing on some of my earliest days as a young butler at my father's knee. I remember the first days I prepared herring. It's my favourite food. It must be great joy to be living on an island like this, where herring is literally coming out of your ears, almost.
Yes, it is, and it has not always been the case. But for all the time I've lived on the island, it has been. I first came here when Godmother Abella first opened the inn, which was really in response to all the fishermen in these islands who'd come following the herring and realizing that they needed to be watered and fed. She saw a business opportunity there, and I came to the island then. I've been their servant ever since.
And what was it like here before? I mean, there were no herring here before, and suddenly the Lord saw fit to fill the seas with herring hereabouts.
I didn't live here, so I don't know exactly what it was like before. But I understand it from the fishermen that herring shoals go where they will, and sometimes they'll come here to the Skagerrak, which is the sea that you're in. Sometimes they'll go to the North Sea, and all the Scottish fishermen get to fish them. I imagine now the Scottish fishermen are saying, "Och, where are those herring?" In a very bad Scottish accent. That's me putting on a bad Scottish accent. Obviously, I could do a perfect one, but I'm playing a Swede. So yes, the fishermen must follow the herring, and those of us who do not fish and do not have a boat to follow the herring must make of it what we will when they're local.
I assume that you all must sing the Lord's praises day and night to
yes,
for the bounty that
and
you
you'll
have
notice that she is wearing a cross, actually, crucifix around her neck, and she says, "Yes, we are like all associated with the sea. We are all very godly folk.
I
If you go
understand
against God, the sea will go against you."
Oh yes, I've heard that phrase before. Very, very, very wise. I understand that there was an accident here a little while ago, or an unfortunate occurrence. I guess your vicar died, killed himself. I understand.
I don't know about that.
Is she looking a bit perturbed, or does she just genuinely
No,
look
I
like
think she
doesn't know?
genuinely doesn't know. We don't, and she's a bit confused because we don't have a vicar, and we don't have a church here. We're pious folk, but
I heard there was a holy
we
man
must
here on
read
the
our own
island
Bible on a Sunday.
who was here, and he sadly met a timely end.
Oh, I do remember there was a visitor who was a vicar, like the one you've bought today, but maybe a bit older. I don't think he and the master got on. I remember raised voices, but I do not. I know nothing of an accident.
Oh, okay. I mean, he was a man of God, and your master is clearly a man of God as well. What possible cause could they have to raise voices against one another?
I will tell you. As soon as my game master has looked into the background of the...
Well, let's chop some more herring whilst he does that, shall we? Is there some cooking sherry that we can have to?
Oh yeah. So if you're buttering her up, then yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a butler, you would be in charge of that. So yes, you can find a little bit of something to loosen her lips for her.
We'll have a little bit of cooking sherry, and don't worry, I won't tell the master. It's entirely down to me.
Yes. So she just says, as I think about it, I do remember that the vicar, Carl, was very much an evangelist, a disciple of, you will have heard of him, I'm sure, Henrik Schartau. Very much a hellfire and fury sort of evangelist.
Have I heard of him?
You may have done, yes, but I think Victor will have done. You can ask Victor about it.
Right, Henrik Schartau.
His goal was to convert the herring baron to an honest and decent life. He thinks that the work that Zachariah does is too much for profit and not in service of God. Now, of course, Zacharias thinks that God allows profit. What does he say? Something about the Romans, give unto Rome what is due to Rome. Sorry, my Bible's not great.
Neither's mine. It's okay, Laura.
So yes, they would have arguments about charity, I think, for the most part.
So Vicar Carl was trying to encourage your master to give more to charity. I assume your master must give much to charity to. I
think to change his life, and they do somewhat overcharge for the food and drink down at the inn. They could charge more reasonably there.
It is a bit of a monopoly, though, isn't it? There's nowhere else to go. I'd probably charge over the
and
odd
that
if I
is
was
precisely their argument. And they treated me very well all this time.
He seems a fine gentleman. I enjoyed making his company earlier, and I'm hopeful that Dr. Inga and the other guests are enjoying his company right now. I'm sure they are.
Of course, he must be distraught at the disappearance of his brother. That's what confused me when you first said you talked to the vicar that we have not seen the oldest brother Paul for a month or so.
For a month? Oh dear! Is he a fisherman? Because he lost at sea, or?
Well, I must say that the brothers generally don't do much actual work, if you get my meaning.
Okay, I think I might have met his other brothers.
They do enjoy life and drink and things like that.
Was much of a search conducted to find?
Oh yes,
Paul?
no. They went from one end of the island to the other, but in truth, it's actually a very small island,
And this was a month ago. So is this exactly the same time that Carl was killed? Do you think? Or there?
The way she's describing it, yes.
Yeah. And what was Paul like? Was there any suggestion that Paul was dissatisfied or would run away? Maybe he went to the mainland.
He was he was very much like nobody is terribly much like Zacharias, of course, but he was very much like Pete and Pache. The three of them enjoyed life together in the way that you might imagine three brothers do.
I have to say that I would never have known from the demeanor of the brothers and of their mother that they'd lost their brother just a month ago. They seemed they didn't seem in mourning or upset at all.
Well, grief takes us all very differently, I think. And I imagine they hold out some hope that he's gone on an adventure without telling anybody, hopped on board a boat to see what's on the other side of the lake or of the sea, and he will return maybe from America covered in riches at some point.
Did he take his belongings with him then? Did he pack a bag and go?
No.
Did he come down here to get some food from you for his packed lunch on the way?
No.
Was he the impetuous sort who would just leap on a boat and disappear without any preparation?
Well, now you say it, no.
No.
Shall we cut back to the other?
It's a mystery.
Go on
Yeah.
like that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Meanwhile,
maybe that's the point.
Dinner,
We've got the starters ready, so we'll bring them through.
Millie, I see you don't like herring.
No, it's terrible. But I'll live. It's fine.
I want to say, just get out. Get out. I won't GM for anybody who doesn't like herring. She's gone. Bring her back. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Doug has never had herring, so it's just as well it's not on the screen. But herring is brought, and this is pickled herring. So, I think it might be called silled in Swedish, or sill. Anyway. So these are little squares of herring on some fine rye bread, nice fresh butter, and it's kind of vinegary. Really just slips down, no problem at all. Anyway, at dinner, the two brothers kind of leer at you, or the three of you, not saying just the two of you. They crack jokes to each other that nobody quite understands, but the herring baron himself, Zacharias, is very much the gentleman, and our Bella kind of just sits there. She's warm to you, but she doesn't say very much. So. What business have you on the island? I can't quite imagine why a doctor, a vicar, and forgive me, but a writer who obviously doesn't like herring have come here. Sometimes we see buyers who think they're going to speculate on herring and buy a great cargo and hope it doesn't go off before they get to the Americas or to Ireland or to Spain, but you don't strike me as that sort of investor.
Oh, No. August is looking to write a book, of course. And I've been scouting locations to set up a little, infirmary of sorts.
Oh,
But-
really?
Yes,
Well,
it seems that you run a tight ship, however.
You would be very welcome to set up an infirmary here, but I fear you would not make much money for, well, the family here are all healthy, and the seamen don't stay very long, and there are very few accidents here about. I honestly can't remember the last time we had anybody chop their fingers off or anything exciting like that.
Is that odd? Is that odd that they don't have accidents at all?
Well, you think he might be making light of the minor industry. This is the 19th century.
That's true.
You know, not having accidents mean we only killed 3 children last week, I imagine. But
No accidents to the important people.
no accidents to important people, yeah, who actually make the money. But yes, no, I don't mean to say it in an odd way. He's very laissez-faire about it and engaging you in conversation.
Well, sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes it's about delightful company.
Have you seen the crews that come here? He says. I mean, I would, of course, relish your company every evening of the month if you could stay here. But I'm sure you'll be quickly bored, and even you, dear August. Sometimes the postal service is not that reliable. So no matter how many book clubs you subscribe to, you may run out of reading material, for there is very little else to do on this island.
Do the sailors, do the fishers, do they not have stories of the sea and daring tales of sea monsters and strange beasts that lure things into the depths and so on?
There are tales like that. If you want tales, then there is a fisherman who lives on a neighboring, I say a neighboring island, an island not that far away. Orvar, his name is. He will give you all the ridiculous tales you could possibly imagine. But generally, when he comes here, he comes to the inn, he drinks himself stupid. Honestly, I don't know how he gets his boat home, but every time he apparently gets home, we don't see him for days, and he comes here again. He may be at the inn right now, for all I know, but he'll be absolutely out of it, I can assure you. But he probably has some fanciful tales to tell you, I'm sure.
She's genuinely torn about, like, go to the inn or stay here and eat tea. Genuinely torn. I've often found during a lot of my research that local places have such wonderful small tales that only are known in local areas. Is there any such stories here on the island?
Oh, I fear we're a very boring island. We do have a great name. My ancestors, I'm told, were pirates, and they would drag people onto the island and wreck their boats, and that's what gives the name gives the island its name. But all that is past us now. We are dull accountants, really. That's what we are. That's all we do is tot up the money coming in and the money going out, and the fish coming in and the fish going out, and the liquor coming in and the liquor going out. It's a terribly dull life, I'm afraid.
Oh, a little bit crestfallen, like, oh, that's nowhere near as romantic.
Good problems to have.
As long as the fish are with us, then yes, they are great problems to have. But we're aware that we may lose. The fish are fickle, and if the herring leave this part of the world, then it may be a decade or more before we see them again.
Isn't it strange, or so I've heard, that the herring has stayed here for so long?
Maybe we are blessed. But I do not question it for fear that if I ask questions of it, then the herring will go.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I understand.
Have we said like grace and stuff that the godmother said they did every day?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Just-
And are there any holy symbols? You know, have they got a
There-
crucifix on their wall or anything like that?
There are crosses. Yes. I mean, in this
They're all the right way up. None of them are
they're,
upside down.
they're all wooden crosses and the right way up. There is no evidence of Satanism here. No pentagram carved into the table or anything like that.
Just checking.
Oh, look at that.
How many generations?
Have you just carved a
had such
pentagram into the
success?
table? Sorry, Inga, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. How many generations has there been such success with Wrecker Island?
Success? Really, it's in my generation. You'd have to ask my brothers, of course, and he looks across at them, but they're giggling over something. It may even be in my lifetime. I was, I think, very small when the herring first came, and it's, well, you know, I was a teenager when my mother set up the inn. So yes, it's been only a decade or two, I think, since we've been blessed with this fortunate business. But reap while ye may.
And for August's story, if August does so choose to write about it, was there any interesting events that happened when the luck turned?
Oh, nothing that I'm aware of. No stories told to me, and I, as a boy, would have loved to hear those stories if they had been.
Oh my gosh, I cannot remember Abella's last name.
Amundsen.
Mrs. Admison, surely you must remember something. For our writer friend. Regale us.
She's taken, as these questions have gone on, she's taken distinctly grumpier and grumpier appearance.
Oh,
And now you've asked her directly, she actually blurts out, "Mind your own business, landlubber."
oh. I was merely trying to make conversation, ma'am.
Watch yourself, nosy one. The new moon is here soon.
Do I know what that's supposed to mean?
Yeah, take a learning roll.
I would love to take a learning roll. What is my learning? 2. My logic is 3. I'm gonna roll 5. 1 success.
You have a rudimentary knowledge of the moon and its phases, and yes, a new moon is coming tomorrow night.
Okay.
But Zechariah kind of interrupts her and says, "Forgive her. She's a little long in the tooth. I think civilized conversation tires her, to be honest. Maybe we should retire. I can see you've not eaten much herring, August, but maybe you'd prefer a glass of port.
Certainly, yes. Let's.
Shall we to the drawing room?
Yes.
We'll leave you here, mother. Shall we? Shall we leave you here, mother? And he ushers you into the drawing room.
Is she? Oh, sorry, Dave, go.
No, I was just going to say that when they go, I'll stay behind and start slowly clearing the table, and observing what the mother is doing.
She clears out pretty soon. Tell you what, what's a good skill for kind of eavesdropping in this game?
We have
observation,
stealth.
do we think?
Close combat? How would that do?
No, I think vigilance. I think actually.
That's a pity. Because I've got 3 dice on vigilance.
Okay, well, roll those 3 dice, if you will.
And vigilance is a logic thing, isn't it?
Mhm.
So that's mental if I want to take a
Yeah.
thingamajig. Okay, I get 1 success.
Okay, for 1 success, don't push it, because
Okay.
you do hear her say to the brothers, "You should keep your eye on those." And then she sees you come in.
Okay. I'll do my best butler thing of being totally nondescript and unnoticeable whilst I'm going about doing the chores.
But
Okay.
she goes up to her room and the brothers go out back towards the inn.
And when she's going out, I'll say, if I may take the liberty, is there anything that I might get for you, good lady?
No. Got my own servant. Don't need to give you a job.
I'm not asking for a job, good lady. I was just wishing to help you in any way that I could.
Well, you can help me by clearing off this island. As soon as your business is done.
That's down to Dr. Inga. But yes, we will leave as soon as she's ready.
Right.
And I'll get to clear up the table.
Yeah. In the drawing room, he's full of pleasantries, but it doesn't really say very much in answer to the questions you've been asking.
Kind of at a loss, if I'm honest. I'm a bit like...
I'm going to excuse myself to powder my nose and see if I can catch Magnuson.
Of course you can catch Magnuson, because
Perfect.
he is always waiting to be of service to you, I'm sure.
Magnuson.
Maybe again, we know each other so well that I know she's going to want to powder her nose and talk to me on the way. Yeah.
Magnuson, perhaps you could press the staff as to the strange events that may have happened. The lady of the house got quite closed up when I questioned these events.
The events
leading up to the success. I asked if there was any sort of interesting event that happened prior to the success. Maybe we can even find out if there was a sailor who's been here for a long time, who may know if the staff is not.
Absolutely, I will do so, Dr. Inga. You also to know that I've learnt that the Vicar Carl was an adherent of a evangelist called Henrik Schartel, which I wasn't aware of. I've read about him in the paper, I believe, but I can't quite place him.
We should ask Vicar Victor.
And secondly, as you were departing the dining room, I overheard the mother say to the sons that they should keep an eye on all of us. So please be careful when I'm not in your presence.
We should definitely watch what we say when we say it then.
And then I'll go back to the kitchen and try and re-engage. I'll say to Laura when I go in, take your feet off. It must have been a really long day. Leave me with the dishes, and I'll start washing them up. And then I'll just get back into conversation with her.
So that is very kind of you, but it doesn't get any more information. Particularly, when you quiz her on what happened before the herring fleet, before the herring came,
and
she
why the
reminds you
godmother
that she only got
upset.
involved after the herring
okay.
came. It was she got her first job when they opened up the inn, so she doesn't know.
But you hadn't heard anything that
no stories or anything like that. No.
That might explain why the godmother would be upset to talk about it.
And no old sailor who's been here for thousands of years.
There's that drunken fool that he told us, Arthur, who might be down in the pub. Which is why August is a bit like, no, I want to stay and talk to the pretty man, but also I want to go and talk to the drunk fool because that'd probably fill my book quicker. And she's a bit like,
Yeah, Victor's kind of thinking about how he can make excuses in order to go and talk to this drunk sailor too.
Well, you don't need to particularly make excuses. The conversation has turned into that sort of very polite, but kind of, right, we're done now. sort of tone
Okay.
that Henrik's doing. So he's kind of lost interest in you. He's got as much information out of you as he thinks he can get, and you're boring him now. But he's quite civilized, and so he's not actually saying you're boring me now. But
Thank you
could,
so much for your time. I do, after this journey, I would like to rest. I do hope you understand.
of course, and his smile is very broad, and he calls up Laura to fetch your coats, and you can help, of course, Magnuson.
So I guess I'll probably do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
As we're leaving, I just want to go up to him and say, thank you for this wonderful hospitality. And I reach out to shake his hand and say, the Lord has truly blessed you and your family. And I just want to kind of press him, stare into his eyes, and hold his hand just for an extra second longer than I should.
Okay. And he puts his hand on top of yours and says, I feel truly blessed. And he holds your eyes as long as you want to.
Can I do some sort of observation? Can I read him?
Go on, roll your observation to read him. Yeah.
Okay, let's
I
see.
think it just assumes there's subtext here.
So, latent.
2 successes.
Ooh.
He's lying.
Oh!
Obviously.
And with that realization, I let go and take my coat.
Okay. And he, as politely as anybody has ever done, he ushers you out of the house, shepherds you like sheep down the steps of the house and back towards the inn.
Sheep to the slaughter.
Wow.
So, back at the inn, you can see, from his description, you can see the old sailor, Orva. And Doug, if you're around, can you show us the grizzled old sailor? No, the other. That's an ordinary. That's a middle-aged sailor. There's a more grizzled, older, longer-haired sailor.
I thought you was just going to put your picture on full screen, Matt. That was all.
That one there.
Oh, he's
That
quite
is
grizzled.
Orva.
I thought I could only see it as like a small image. I thought it was a woman.
You're talking about the picture or Matt?
You're forgiven, Doug. You're forgiven, Doug. But no, this is great.
The women
so
truly are terrifying on this
man.
island.
Shucks for days.
And he is quite in his cups as it is. And you're getting there. It's quite late. It's still, quite light because it only starts getting dark about 11 o'clock at night. That's what I know from my knowledge of Sweden. But he's quite drunk, and he sort of slouched across the table and making noises about saying he should get back to his island.
Not before we buy him a drink, surely.
Well, you can buy him a drink, of course. He'll take a drink off you.
I will indeed.
And almost straight away, he kind of doesn't notice, you might have said, can I get you a drink? And he might have mumbled an assent, but it's only when you put the drink on the cup, on the glass on the table in front of him. He wakes up and he looks at you and he stares at you. And it's you that put the drink down, is it, Victor?
Yeah.
He looks you up and down, notices your dog collar. And he stands up, suddenly active, and he shakes his finger at you. And he says, if you value your life, you'll leave this island as quickly as possible. The sea gives, the sea takes away. Soon it will take you too, if you're not careful. The new moon is almost here. His breath is reeking with booze as he stares into your face and says that. And then he turns towards the door of the inn, looks at the table, grabs up the glass, drinks it, knocks it back in one go, and this is pretty powerful aquavit you've given him, and then strides out through the door and into the night.
Well,
That's the second time we've heard that. New moon. Can I do some sort of learning check of my own? I'm just curious whether there's any kind of filthy pagan connotations to new moons that I should be aware of.
I'll tell you what, just I don't think there's any. It is going to be new moon tomorrow. As the doctor has already ascertained. I don't know that there's anything particularly. Oh well, yeah. Go on, do a learning check.
Okay, let's see. Learning is.
I was going to persuade you to do an observation check as well, but you might do that.
While you're doing this, can Inga tap the table in front of August and beg a sheet of paper?
Yeah, it takes a minute or two to find something that isn't already written on. Yeah.
And I'm just going to write on it, then fold the paper and pass it over to you. We're being watched.
I was unable to recall any knowledge about new moons.
Okay. Do you want to make an observation test though? About
Yes, I do. Okay. And I got 3 successes.
Well, let me say that you are confident that he was telling the truth, such as he said. He was genuinely warning you to get off the island, not threatening you, warning you. He looked at you, the image of a priest, and wanted to save your soul, is the impression you got from him.
That man truly believed what he said.
Well, not even your soul. No, let's not. He wanted to save your life.
I think we should keep his warning in mind. We may be in true danger here.
Is Justina still working? Is she still around?
Yeah, she is.
I wanna so August will go over to try and kind of catch her attention, and perhaps ask for like a glass of water, because that's probably all she can't afford here. And be like, that sailor, the dramatic old man, is that typical for him? Does he often shout at folks and warn them that the moon is coming and they should flee?
Well, I haven't been here for very long, she says, but yes, he comes in, I don't know, every 3 nights or so, and gets quite drunk and mumbles or shouts and storms out pretty much every time he comes in. What he says, don't know whether he particularly has mentioned the moon, maybe a couple of times, but no, I wouldn't particularly think that he's like not an astronomer or anything.
Oh, is the moon important for the fishing? Like, this is I think 2nd or 3rd time somebody's mentioned that tomorrow or the day after. Soon there's a new moon. Is it important? Does it make the fish swim better or something?
Well, I'm not a fisherman.
I know, but
no, I don't think so. Really, no. I want to get out of here.
You do?
Yeah. What do you do?
Oh, I write books. I
love to be a writer.
Oh, well, and she'll be like, well, first of all, you need to and blather on like that for a bit.
Okay, so you blather on with Justine. Dave, you were going to say something, Magnuson?
Yeah, just when the old guy was storming out, I'm going to just indicate to Dr. Inga that I'd quite like to follow him and say, if I may take the liberty.
You are excused, Magnuson. Thank you.
And I'm going to go and follow him and see where he goes.
Okay. You follow him.
Largely for his safety, because I think he's very drunk and might fall down and hurt himself.
He is very drunk, but he's like a horse who knows his way home. You watch him swaying down to the shore, staggering out onto the pier, almost falling into a little dinghy he's got there.
I want to get close enough behind him to try and catch him if he's going to fall into the water.
But he doesn't at any point fall into the water. He gets to the dinghy, pulls a couple of strokes with his oars, pulls his oars in, throws up over the side, then starts rowing into the night. And you can watch him as long as you see him, goes around the headland, and he's off to wherever he lives on his island.
Surely drunk in charge of a rowing boat is some kind of offence.
Probably not in the last century, no.
I've got no way of catching him anyway, have I? So, okay. Whilst I'm here, I'm just going to go and check in on Vicar, whatever his name was, Udgren.
Udgren, yes.
Just to make sure he's all right.
He's wrapped up in blankets in the boat. He gives you a smile. Doug, I don't think we've shown a picture of Oscar Udgren, have we yet?
I don't think so. Is that the one that I showed earlier?
No. I don't think we've seen him at all. He should be the first portrait in my... That's him, yep.
So he looks a bit like Jim Carrey, yeah.
Yeah. So if you can imagine that face giving as much of a smile as it can, he gives you one smile and says, "Have you found anything yet?" He doesn't see any difference between you and your mistress in terms of colleagues. No status thing there. Genuinely interested. Have you found any evidence yet?
We found no evidence. There is a story. There is a tale we're piecing together, but we're not there yet. I would just wanted to make sure that you were okay, having been so roughly thrown out of the inn by those two brothers. And what was it with that maid at the bar that led you to be thrown out like that?
I just think she's an innocent. She's a soul that can be saved. Everybody else on this island, apart from yourself, obviously, and your companions that I have brought here, they are all damned.
But your
not her.
Your intentions were honourable, I assume, Vicar.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm a man of God and a man of caring. I couldn't possibly have any other attentions.
I certainly do not mean to insult you, and please pardon if I've taken a liberty too far, but I am a man of the world, and I wondered whether there was a similar situation that might have been...
He vehemently denies it, but I'll let you make an observation
Victor
test with an extra dice.
Observation, empathy. Okay, so it's not a lot of dice, but okay, with an extra one.
Yeah.
Okay, that gives me 5 dice. Observation is precision.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm going to take a condition and I'm going to push that.
Okay. Right. Take a condition.
And I think I'm exhausted because I've been working all day. It's been a long day. I've been very busy. I've done a lot more talking than I would normally do. And I get 1 success this time.
He's lying. He's infatuated with her. He protests too much.
Oh,
Right, okay. I suggest for your own safety, Vicar, that you remain on board this boat. Don't come back onto the island. I wouldn't want those 2 young men to be throwing you down any more stairs.
Keep your eye on Justine for me, he says. Don't let anything come to her. Don't let any harm come to her.
If you stay on the boat here, I will keep an eye on Justine for you.
Okay.
If you get off the boat, I'll be very angry with you.
Fair. You turn away. Are you turning away?
Yeah, I'll leave now.
Can you make a vigilance roll?
Vigilance. That's not looking good. Logic isn't my best thing. No, I got no successes.
Okay.
So can I just check one of my talents, robust, is you may ignore penalties for physical conditions on one roll per session. So that means I can ignore exhausted for one roll, so I don't get that negative. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and it may be that you want to wait until you've got 2 conditions or even 3, and you'd normally be doing.
Okay, so I could ignore all 3 of them.
Yes.
Ah, right. Okay, I get that.
But once per session.
So I'm just wondering. Okay, I'm gonna push that. I think maybe the hairs on the back of my neck have stood up a little bit, and I'm slightly frightened because this place is beginning to weird me out. And I get 1 success.
Okay. For 1 success, you see the 2 brothers at the end of the pier staring at you like Tweedletum and Tweedledee. But when they see that you've seen you, they turn away, and it looks like they were just taking the air.
Okay. I'm going to surreptitiously check my revolver and make sure it's loaded properly. And I'm going to hurry back to Dr. Inga because I'm fearful for her safety.
Very good. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the inn, are you doing anything else?
I had wondered whether we should be pressing this this waitress for her relationship with Oscar.
If you do that, she will tell you that Oscar is a friend and no more. He's a sweet man, but she has no feelings for him, and I'm not going to make you make an observation roll to see that she's telling the truth.
Oh, darn it. I will, under the guise of telling her to write what you know and that kind of thing, ask her to maybe tell me a little bit more about some of the sailors and some of the other folk that come in, as to give her some help with getting started with writing and that kind of stuff.
Character studies and things.
Yeah, I want to. I'm basically fishing for more gossip or more leads or that kind of stuff from her.
Right. So that's a good way of opening up.
I hear fishing is quite a successful technique on this island.
Fishing, yeah, she's totally fishing.
So what can I tell you out of that? Okay. She tells you that Abella has got a fearful temperature, and she actually starts talking about a vicar that was here about a month ago, having a loud argument with Abella and then with Zachariah, the Herring Baron himself.
Oh.
And as usual, as just happened to Oscar, or not just happened, as happened earlier to Oscar, Pete and Pace threw the vicar out, and he swore that he'd return. And she just reminded, actually, she hadn't really thought about it since then, but later that night, she had woken up to the sound of another argument outside the warehouse. And she just, at the time, she thought it was a couple of drunken sailors. But now you're talking about it, she thinks it might have been the vicar's voice again that she heard that time.
Outside the warehouse.
Yeah, the long yellow sorting house of the herring things.
Did you hear what the yelling?
No, not really. It just woke me up. It does when you're sleeping, and all you're really concerned about is getting your sleep. You put your pillow over your head again. And as I say, at the time, I think I just thought it was sailors. But now you're making me think about their characters and their voices.
Yeah. And
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the vicar again, and I have no idea what they were shouting about.
And the godmother and the baron, all 3 of them outside?
Maybe. I think probably not the guy. I think that was all male voices.
Oh.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
This observation is when you start thinking about it in a way like you're going to write notes. I wonder what their argument could be about. Perhaps the vicar was corrupt and he wanted to buy the herring factory or something. I don't know.
No.
That's ridiculous. Perhaps you had a young lover. No.
No. Vicars don't always have young lovers. I know it sounds romantic, but no.
They don't always do that.
No.
Do you not have a young lover? She says.
Okay. Maybe you could think on it a little more, and if the details come, perhaps you could share it with me, and I'll root out. I don't know whether she's got any. I'll root out 2 or 3 bits of paper for her, and
it was the last night I saw Paul as well. Now
Paul?
I think about it. The older brother.
Doesn't another brother?
Yeah, he went off to Spain or something afterwards, they said. He's checking out a business opportunity there. But it might have been him the vicar was arguing with. I don't know.
Paul and the vicar. And he's not been, there was no, like, if a relative of mine were perhaps going on an exciting business venture to a foreign country, we'd probably have a bit of a party, maybe a send-off.
No, nothing before. No, it'd been quite an ordinary night in the inn, except for the vicar and the argument.
And he just, the next day was...
And he was gone, yeah.
No tearful goodbyes on the pier. They're a very good scene to write. Tearful goodbyes. Letting go of handkerchiefs in the wind onto the boats and such.
No, nothing like that. Well, you're right, though. It'd be good. Maybe I could make a story like that for them.
Yeah, but... And then curious. How curious.
Well, now you mention it, it is. Is it like a mystery?
It is very much like a mystery.
The case of the missing brother. Doesn't sound like a great title, though, does it?
No, but we can work on that. We'll work on that.
And he's not really missing because they know where he is because he's gone to Spain or Gothenburg or somewhere. I'd like
not
to go
Spain.
To Spain.
Who said Spain?
Well, I think I said Spain, but I can't honestly remember.
Like, and as she's like, I can't honestly remember. Does it look like, where she was like, does it look like a genuine level of, I can't remember, or does it look like?
Yes, I will not make you make a roll there. No.
Okay. Because it's just the way it was just like,
yeah, I mean, she's a bit confused, but she's recounting what she'd heard somebody else say. She doesn't have an enchantment on her.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yes,
some sort of some sort of spooky things that are not entirely impossible in this thing. Okay, so I'm not sure that there's anything else I can tease out of her, but also August is probably the sort of person to take advantage of the wide-eyed fantasy of this young lady and possibly write her into a book in a not necessarily flattering light. So August will engage with this conversation in between whatever the young lady is doing and more like
make more notes.
Yeah, there.
Cool. Inga, what have we haven't heard from you for some time? What are you doing?
I am watching to see if I spot Pete and Repeat creeping up on us. Because when they make an appearance, she's just gonna step on August's toes. So she's just remaining very vigilant, watching.
Okay. They do come back into the inn shortly after Magnuson comes back into the inn.
Okay. The toe step happens, and I brush my hair in their general direction.
Yeah.
That's why women brush their hair, everyone. We're making silent conversation about other people in the room.
It's all coming together suddenly.
Like thieves.
The secrets have been revealed. Yeah, so you can see that they're watching you. They're sitting, they're joking, sniggering to each other, finishing each other's sentences, but all the time their eyes are on the four of you.
Yeah, and I'll fill them in of what I found out on the pier and what happened. They were watching me on the pier too. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, all I was going to say was I wonder if it might be worth, if we can lose these brothers, having a peek inside this warehouse. Perhaps now at night, while there's no one working there, we'd be able to sneak in unseen.
August, perhaps we could have a conversation with them while the other two take a walk.
Yeah. Sure. And as Inga comes over, I'll gather up my papers so she can't accidentally read any of the things. Because there's probably a page on Inga in here.
Are you writing about me again?
So let me get this right, Inga. You two are going to talk to the brothers.
Yeah.
To distract them while Magnus and Victor go to the... Okay.
I want to hear about their jokes. I want to hear all of their jokes, and I'm going to laugh the whole time.
Okay. Let's hear how you start that conversation, because
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Hello.
They've been staring at you as you've been walking across. They were kind of expecting you to sort of shuffle. As you sort of stepped into their zone, their faces, their grins faltered, and they looked almost scared for a moment. And then you say hello, and they, for briefest a second, they look even more scared, but then they grin and say hello.
How are you this fine evening?
Hey, it's a fine evening. You enjoying the island?
I am enjoying the island, but you are just laughing over here. I think you could be enjoying it more than I am. Would you pray tell me a few of your jokes? Or what is so funny?
Okay. And then they tell you the dullest jokes in the world.
Surely you've got to make a roll to laugh
them.
at those jokes, surely.
Yeah, we've got an acting role in this.
Oh dear! Manipulation?
Manipulation versus observation.
Actually, yes. Let's do to actually distract them.
I was joking, sorry.
No, but you're right.
Terrible
You're
throwaway
right.
lines.
What have you
There's
done?
an ulterior motive here.
Sorry.
These people are distracting them from watching you. So I will roll their observation, and you must beat it with your manipulation.
Oh
That
dear.
is a very good thing. Well, I'll be rolling their vigilance, actually, because they're keeping an eye on the three of you. And vigilance is paired with precision, isn't it?
So are both me and Emily rolling, or is just one of us rolling and somebody helping? How's this gonna?
Yeah, I can't remember. I do remember I was going to look up the rules for helping, and I didn't earlier today. So let's just go with the rules for helping. One of you can throw a dice in the other one's direction. Okay.
Are you better at faking it than I am? You talk with a lot of people.
Yeah. So August's empathy is 4 and her manipulation is 1.
Oh, you're better than I.
Yeah.
Would you like to lead and I will help you?
Yeah, I guess I will.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess she takes over and says, "I've heard a joke," and says something that's probably like a pun that just lands flat or something.
And it is 1 dice for every person helping you.
Okay.
Oh, I get 3 successes.
Oh!
They are infatuated with you, and you guys can see that the women have absolutely captured the attention of Paul and
Got yourself a double date, girls.
Pete, not Paul.
The wrong
Peter
brother. The wrong brothers.
So you guys can sneak with impunity out into the a warehouse. Meanwhile, they go, you do as you're told, we'll rough you up. We'll rough you up if you do as you're told, says the other one. And it's probably worth laughing. I don't know whether that was a joke or just stupidity, but
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go down to the warehouse with you people.
Did you say, Vicar Victor, that you had a revolver?
I am armed only with the Lord's
The protection of God.
protection.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Is it
Right.
is it a big crucifix, like two?
It's a reasonably large one. It's sort of thing you've got to keep in a large pocket or satchel. It's not like a necklace sized one.
Right. Okay.
Something you could probably injure someone with if you needed to.
I am going to make you both make a force test because the stench down here is overpowering to city folk like you.
Okay.
Oof. This one.
And I get -1 for my condition, yeah, because I'm a bit tired.
Yeah. And if you
I'm
fail,
exhausted.
you'll get exhausted again, so you'll have to take another condition.
Okay. I'm quite good. I've got quite a lot of force and physique. 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay.
Unfortunately, Victor is struck down by this overpowering stench.
Offer him
And,
one of my perfume hankies.
You're not struck down by it, but you do have to take a condition. You are breathing so heavily through your mouth and so unnaturally to try and avoid the stench that you're tiring yourself out as you walk around. But you're
exhausting.
not rendered incapable.
For a moment, I thought that all those herrings were going to make their way back out onto the dock.
Rejoin the herrings that are here. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess one of you needs to make a vigilance test with 1 dice of help from the other one.
You'd better do that, I think, Victor, because my vigilance is awful.
Okay, vigilance. 3.
Same here. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, but I get an extra 1 for you helping me, don't I? So,
Yeah,
But he's
bet
also
you do, 'cause-
exhausted.
Because I'm.
Well, I'm exhausted, so I.
Oh yes,
But
down
isn't
one.
that?
But that's a physical
mental
thing,
one, isn't it?
exhaustion.
Yeah.
Oh, right, of course, yes, yeah.
So I'm back up again. It's fine. Everything's
Sorry,
fine.
So better that you do it anyway, because I'm frightened.
And I see absolutely nothing.
Right. Do you want to push that?
Ooh, maybe I should. Maybe I should push that. Yes. So I have to take a condition.
Yeah.
And then I will.
Are you going to? Is my frightenedness going to have infected you with being
Yes, it
frightened?
has. I feel feel a cool breeze come over me, and cocked dice. Okay. I got 2 6s though. So.
Wait.
2 6s. You do notice next to a couple of herring barrels in a secluded corner of the warehouse, a crucifix that you recognize was worn by Vicar Carl.
Glimmering in the light.
Has it been sort of hung on a?
No, it's in the
Nail
dirt.
or-
beneath it.
right.
But I tell you what, it's a wooden floor stained with all sorts of stuff. But you can't help but notice that there is a dark stain here as well that might have been blood. Have either of you got a decent investigation or medicine skill?
Not decent, but I have it.
Okay, give it a go.
And what's the other one? Medicine.
Yeah.
Precision. So I'm better at medicine actually, so I'll give that
Okay.
a try.
Assisting
again-
in surgeries and whatnot.
Yeah, but again I'm at -1. So can I get a dice of help from Victor?
I'm assuming I can help him. I've got some
Yes,
medicine.
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay. It gives me 4 dice. 2 successes.
Yeah, you're pretty convinced that it's old, it's about a month old, but you think it was blood.
I'm drawing my revolver because I'm quite frightened now.
The crucifix alone has convinced me that Carl was.
No, I don't
Carl
think the
met his
herring
end
did it.
here.
Did the herring lynch him?
Well, they might have shot him.
Okay, and so from that roll, does it look like a bullet Is there a bullet hole somewhere, or
Uh, No, I think the bullet was lodged and found by
yeah,
you mentioned that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think a gunshot in this warehouse, the sound might travel to the inn or the
Yeah, you'd
You
think
were
so.
buildings. You think someone would have heard it? Perhaps during the day, I don't know. People would have seen it then.
Mm.
But it looks like that the crucifix has just been discarded. Someone's like kicked dust over it, and
Yes, it's like it may have been a struggle or something that it got ripped off in a struggle. Not that it's been purposefully placed there or hidden.
I carefully sort of clean it with my clean the dirt off it with my handkerchief.
I think, Victor, we ought to get back to the girls before we get found or something goes wrong back at the inn. I think
I agree. I think we've seen.
I think we
Seen a
now
lot
have
here.
some evidence, don't we? I think.
And here we see the patriarchy in its full power. When you're with them, it's madam, miss, and then when it's two men, it's let's get back to the girls.
Now, I think Magnuson would have said we ought to return to Dr. Inga and Miss August, but I obviously slipped out of character for a moment.
We'll get back to those birds in the inn.
Yeah.
So,
Great words from a man of God, Victor. That's what I like to hear.
yeah. Are you doing anything else before going back into the inn?
Unless is it worth? Do we think there's anything else here worth searching for?
I wondered,
Well, I'll tell you to keep it short because it's gone 10 o'clock. No.
Okay. Well, then that answers my question.
let's return to the lovely ladies.
They need to hear what we have seen.
Yeah.
So, when you come back into the inn, Pete and Pace or Pache, I don't know how you meant to pronounce his name actually, see you walking back in and suddenly remember that they're meant to be keeping an eye. And suddenly they feel like they've been fooled by this conversation. And
They're clever enough for that?
well,
Devastating.
they have a certain animal cunning, shall we say.
I'm gonna blatantly say you're right, Vicar. It was a lovely evening to take a walk down to the docks and back.
Yeah, but that goes right over their heads. That bit of subterfuge. And they
try.
turn to you two, and Smile's gone now, and they say, "If you keep sticking your nose into other people's business, we might have to beat you up."
I am quite sure I don't know what you mean, and I am offended by your tone. I'm trying to just bluff my way through this situation.
Anyway, they immediately sort of take a step back, glare at the two of you, and then they sit back to back with two of them watching you two, one of them watching you two, and one of them watching you two.
I want
That
to
is,
slowly
one of you
walk in a
wants to-
circle
I
around
was
them.
just thinking that. Yeah, exactly. Let's
I
not
think I-
antagonize them further, shall we?
I've quite enough of this conversation. I think I will head to bed.
Very well. I was going to say,
yeah.
shall we do we want to antagonize them some more, or do we want to go to bed?
No.
I could do with not being frightened anymore and not being quite so exhausted.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think, but also, I want to try and we need to do something to make sure that Dr. Inga is safe. Well, we're all safe during the night.
Perhaps we should double up in the rooms to keep an eye on each other.
What year is this set? Will I have read
Sometime in the 19th century.
Will I have read Lord of the Rings? No, I wouldn't have done
No,
that.
you will not have read
No,
Lord of the Rings.
It's too early. Too early. I
Not
was
been
gonna say,
translated yet.
I've just read this excellent book where trying to hide from evil things chasing them, they put pillows in their beds And
I think he's writing it in the 50. You got a good 50 years.
I know. At least more like 70.
Although
I think,
I'm
yeah.
sure the deceit of putting a pillow in your bed to make it look like you're there is probably written in some fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm
somewhere.
pretty sure every teenager knows that.
Yeah.
That's not something that just appeared recently.
No, that's fair.
Um,
So I suggest we maybe do that, and then all, if Miss August and Dr. Inga can bear the social
idea.
imposition, Vicky,
It'd be a
Victor, and I
pleasure.
will sleep on the floor by the door in the room, and we can all be safe.
if you think
Okay.
that it is necessary, Magnuson.
Yes, we'll give you the news when we get upstairs, and you will understand why we think that's necessary.
Oh my goodness.
We have some evidence.
I will
think-
explain Justina, when we were chatting, she told me that there was an argument the last night that both the other brother. Did you know there was another brother?
From the same mother.
We knew there was a disappeared brother. Yes.
Yes, Paul. The last night she remembers him being here. She also thinks that there was perhaps an argument outside there with the vicar.
Victor, did you wish to impart our news?
I reach into my pocket and pull out a crucifix, and I say, "This belonged to Carl Eric." I can't pronounce his last name.
Headquist.
Headquist. And nearby where we found this, we found the stain that was surely blood, dried.
Oh no.
This was inside the warehouse.
This is terrible news.
So,
All right.
the missing brother Paul, has he done it? If they had an argument?
It's possible, but
Was it Paul having the argument? Is that what she said?
I think so.
That was
Certainly
my
the-
understanding as well.
It was
Certainly the
two-
brothers are involved, then, aren't they?
It was certainly that Paul disappeared that night as well.
And it was two male voices.
it would surprise me that a gun could be fired without anyone hearing it.
Unless they killed him the blood doesn't. I was gonna say, unless they killed him and shot him when he was dead somewhere else, but no.
They may have brought him there.
Perhaps they
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Right.
But-
You're going to have to speculate while you sleep.
Yes.
So what is the sleeping arrangement?
Everybody in Dr. Inga's room, I think.
All four of you in Dr. Zinger's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inga,
I think-
did you have your hand up to say something or just stretching?
I had a question. Can I use my medicine check to treat anyone's physical ailments before we sleep? And to take away any minuses if anyone has a physical
I
ailment?
think that let me just check how medicine works in
It
this game.
says medicine can be used to heal physical conditions. Your patients must be in bed, safe from immediate harm, and have access to food, drink, and medical equipment. You make a
Right.
medicine test each day of treatment.
Okay, you can definitely do that. What's your physical condition?
Exhausted.
Exhaustion. So you
I'm
could
also exhausted.
You could possibly treat them, yes, with some stimulant, maybe,
Perhaps. Let's
or a
see.
sleeping draft to help them sleep properly and recover their exhaustion.
My medicine is 3. My precision is 5.
Way.
That's awesome.
Pretty high. All right, let's see here. Whoops. I accidentally rolled 98 dice, which is too many.
How many successes? None.
Okay, I have 3 successes.
3 successes. I think that is good enough for you, gentlemen, to clear your conditions. Is it? Is it? Let me just make sure. I think you could get. You've only got how many physical? You've only got 1 physical condition.
Yeah.
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 Okay, but I think the night will cure you of your other one,
The mental one.
the mental one. Yeah.
Okay.
But what I would like everybody to do, please. No, actually, give me a moment.
So I'm thinking that I'm going to sleep next to the door so they can't open it from the outside if they try and get in. And Victor should sleep under the window. So if someone tries to come through the window, they've got to tread on
Oh.
him.
Step on me.
Yeah.
I'll
Very well.
willingly be that booby trap, human booby trap.
Right. I'm going to roll some dice here for each of you. You all go to sleep, but you, Dave, have a solid night's sleep. No disturbances.
Excellent.
You, Inga, have a solid night's sleep. No
Okay.
disturbances.
No little fish appearing at my bedside.
Oh, you did.
Just the
Yeah.
head.
So we wake up with a fish head in the bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Last time Dr. Inga stayed somewhere, a spirit brought her a little fish.
Scared the Jesus out of her.
You, Victor, you have a terrible dream. A dream about drowning. You're deep beneath the surface of the sea, surrounded by the dark depths and strange shapes that may be monsters. And you need to make a fear test, and the fear value is 1. So what a fear test is you have to roll. You could either defeat it with your reason. I can't remember. Is it reason or empathy? Yeah. Choose whether you make a test rolling your reason or your empathy dice, and you've got to get at least 1 success.
Okay.
Is that
I'm gonna
logic
use...
or empathy, presumably?
Sorry, let me just look at this. Give me a moment. I probably mean logic, yes.
Yeah, because there is no such thing as
Reason.
reason.
Yes, yeah. Logic or empathy.
I will go for empathy. Empathize my way out of this situation, and almost was no. I do not succeed in empathizing my way out of the situation.
Right. So you have a true nightmare.
Okay.
And you awaken with a condition. And I just got to remember how fear tests work.
Victor, we just got rid of your conditions. What are you thinking?
He's more frightened sleeping in a room with us than he is in that warehouse with a dead body.
It must have been the cool breeze coming through the window made me have a chill in the night, and I imagined I was deep in the blue water.
Sorry, forgive me. I just want to make sure I get this right. I don't want to. So when you wake up in the morning, you feel you must either flee, freeze, faint, or attack something. You can choose which. Roll a 6-sided dice.
I roll 6-sided dice. Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds something I can do. 2.
2. It will last for 2 rounds, whatever your reaction is.
I think it'd be more interesting if instead of freezing, I suddenly leap up and bolt for the door as if I need, suddenly need to get out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably tread on Magnuson trying to escape because he's lying against the door blocking it. So it's probably a sort of struggle as I'm pulling on the doorknob and I can't open it, and I'm not even really aware of my surroundings. I just know that I need to get out of here.
Okay, I think this is actually happening in the middle of the night. So Magnuson, you slept against the door to make sure nobody does it. Suddenly, you've had a really good night's sleep, but suddenly somebody is tugging at the door,
is rattling like
out.
mad.
So you have to wake up to let him out. He won't take no for an answer.
Do I recognise that it's Victor trying to get out?
I think you would. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try and restrain him. Does it look like he's?
How do you treat fear? How do you treat a terrified person?
Can I try and can I give him a bear hug or something to restrain him from what he's doing?
There is a way to treat fear.
You shake him.
Well, I tell you what, we'll come back to that in a moment. I just want to roll my dice for August.
Or a pull yourself together thing.
August. You have the same nightmare, but your fear test is so much worse that you must roll a fear test of 3.
Oh my gosh!
I might not be the only one fleeing out of this room in a second.
Doctor, I can only deal with one of them.
Oh, actually, no. I'm gonna change that. Give me a moment. I'm gonna do something else.
He's going to spend 26 darkness points, and August just goes white and dies. That's a different game.
That's in the other game. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Now, sorry, Doug, can I do private messaging in the chat here? Can I address something specifically to August? Is he around?
I'm not sure you can.
No, I don't think you can. I think you have to.
Okay, I'm just going to switch you to Discord, Millie,
Sure,
and I'm going to say something there.
Oh.
I will. I'll make sure. Yeah. There we go. Secrets.
Secrets.
Okay, normally if this was around the real table and Matt was just passing Millie a note, we'd be like, okay, kill Millie, come on.
Get her!
Traitor.
Secret agendas come up.
Just noticed in the comments, someone suggested perhaps they use the herring as a silencer in order to reduce the sound.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, Inga wouldn't suggest this, but they take a whole bucket of herring and just like stick it through like a pillow.
No. Somebody else in chat mentioned it might be a red herring. I've not made that joke before. I was like,
I've been resisting.
Chat.
I was reserving that.
I think we all passed on that joke, didn't we? It was all a bit obvious, but no, somebody had to do it. I like the person saying it's the Monty Python fish slapping sketch.
Achievement.
In our chat, I'm gonna try and put the how to. Oh, it's not copying over well. How to heal mental conditions.
Right, I've sent you a message, Mill.
I've got it. I'm going to read it now.
Meanwhile, let's deal with you wrestling with the Vicar Magnuson. Now, I just want to go back to the fear pages and just see if there's particularly a treatment that you can offer him. Oh, that's the wrong.
I think my immediate reaction is just to try and restrain him.
I was a bit worried you were going to shoot me, actually.
Because I don't know. Well, if Matt had said I was really groggy, then I would probably got my revolver in my hand, like under my pillow. But I'm not frightened anymore, so it's okay. If I had been frightened, I might have been inclined just to loose off a couple of shots.
Another vicar goes down.
Okay, I think you may as well just try and grab him.
Yeah.
Holding and resting. You need to make a force test.
Yep.
And I'm going to compel you to make a force test as well, Vicar.
Okay,
and
whoever
wins
Okay.
will.
Okay.
Right. Well, I got no successes on 7 dice, and I'm not sure.
No success on 7 dice?
Yeah, that's not
unusual. Magnuson, use your gun.
I got two successes, so I easily overpower you.
So I think in my sleep befuddled state, I maybe grab the post of the bed or something, thinking it's you.
The adrenaline is just surging through me.
And so, what did you get, Victor?
Got 2 successes.
Yeah.
I got
Okay.
I got
So
none. Yeah, I fail.
he pushes you to one side, swipes your arm away. You're just too sleepy and groggy because you were in such a really good sleep.
I was
As
having
is
the
Inga.
best dream
See,
ever. It was
Yeah,
just,
you know, you are sleeping the sleep of the just. You've been woken up, but already you're feeling your eyes closing against. So Victor, you leave and clatter down the stairs.
Burst out of the room.
August, what are you doing?
I probably woken up during all this kerfuffle, and I think I will probably mutter something about I should probably check on him. And stagger out sleepily after him.
You're ready.
Okay.
Well, you know,
You're fast asleep, Inga.
Oh, I'm asleep. I'm sleeping.
Yeah,
I'm asleep.
you really are sleeping the sleep of the just. Poor old Madison woke up simply because he was in front of the door.
in
but
the way.
My head.
I guess my reaction would be to follow, to chase after him and try and get him in my nice slippers and my silk gym jams.
Right. Can I get you to make a vigilance roll, Dave?
Vigilance. I wish you'd stop saying vigilance because I'm not very good at vigilance.
No, if
But
there's
give it a
anything,
try.
if I've got a slight problem with this, there's too many vigilance rolls.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
in
Right,
this game as a whole. It's a bit like investigation rolls in Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah. No successes on 3 dice.
Okay. Well, you can keep track of
No.
Victor,
Okay.
but you lose track of August.
August,
She
okay.
doesn't follow Victor out once they're outside the inn. Victor, you're now recovering. The fear is worn off. Bit of fresh air has caught you.
The smell of herring, I think, really.
Assaulted you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it ever went away, Victor.
I'm just standing
Okay.
outside, sort of panting, trying to catch
So
myself, catch my breath.
I'll run up to Victor and say, "What's going on? Are you all right? What are you doing?"
I look at you and I say, the sea. I was so deep under the sea. It felt so real.
You had a bad dream.
It was more than that. It was like a vision of what's to come.
Okay, like you do with a patient who's not there. I'll pull his gown around him and tie it up for him and say, come on, Victor, let's go back inside. Let's go back in the warm. Well, I
just
quite
get
warm.
guided along by you. There's no resistance. I just got muttering to myself about the sea.
And I'll get him back indoors, and then go. Where's August?
Yeah, it's turning into morning now, and having rescued the vicar, you do go back, and for the first time, you really notice that August has gone and has not returned back to the room.
Is Dr. Inga still asleep?
Yep, she's sleeping peacefully, but
I'm
it's
gonna-
probably a reasonable time to wake her up now.
I'm going to gently rouse her. Yeah. I'm terribly sorry, Dr. Inga. I haven't had time to brew your tea this morning. We've had a little incident with the vicar, and August has disappeared.
What? No, August is right. And she pats the bed next to her. August has disappeared? You were supposed to be guarding the door.
I was chasing the vicar who'd
The vicar.
in some kind of mad panic had run out of the room. He claims to have had a dream, don't you, Vicar?
Yeah, a dream, the sea, so dark, so cold.
And now we've lost August. Quickly, out. I must dress. We must find her. Tea will have to wait.
Gentlemen, get out of the room.
She'll shoo everyone out and get ready. Quickly.
Yeah, but basically grab my clothes and I'll get changed in the corridor. Yeah.
I think your clothes were in the room that you were going to get dressed in. I don't think you undressed here in front of your mistress. This is the bloody 19th century, mate.
That's true. That's true. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, so yes, you spend some time getting dressed, but in that time, August does not return.
Half frantic, she is going down the stairs at a not very ladylike speed.
Have we checked her room? She had her own room. Perhaps she.
You did have your own room. It's a good idea to check. You exchanged keys or something when you were all just out of there. She hasn't gone with her key. You check. It's empty. It's been untouched.
Yeah. So we need to. Yeah.
Do I see Pete and repeat?
No.
If we go downstairs, is there the barmaid or is anyone working down there that might have seen? this strange
Yes.
coming and
So
going in
just
the night?
lighting the fires is Justine, and she it's her job in the morning, I guess, to get everything stoked up. And she says, "Oh, gentlemen, you're here early. I'm afraid there's no breakfast yet. I've only just starting to light the fires. There is some pickled herring. I guess I could do you some rye bread and pickled herring if you like."
No, we're looking for young Miss August. Did you? She. I think she.
Yes,
ran out a moment
yes.
ago.
She was so kind to me last night. She gave me so much information.
She's lovely. Which way did she go?
I haven't seen her this morning. No.
Have you not? Okay.
We don't have time for this. I'm going outside.
When me and Victor came down the stairs, she definitely came out of the inn. Matthew.
Yes. Although
Right.
she followed Victor down. Victor was going out of the inn. She followed Victor out
Yeah.
of the inn, saying she was going to check on him. You followed them both, but you only saw Victor when you were outside. You failed to see where she went.
But did I see?
I'm just getting this. I just want to really drive this home to you, Dave, because it's your failure that's lost track of her. It's not magical or any shit like that. It's you. You failed.
Look, it's Matt. It's your friggin' pre-gen that gave me 3 dice for vigilance. That's what it was. It's your fault, Jones.
Of course, it's my fault. I'm the GM.
But I still haven't entirely established. Am I sure she left the inn?
No, you're probably not
No.
sure she left the inn. Actually, you lost track
Okay.
of her as you came out of the inn.
Okay. I feel the urge to go after Dr. Inga. But I'll say to Victor, she might not have left the inn at all. She might be here somewhere, basement or something.
Yeah, perhaps I can start sort of poking around in other floors and go and see if
Okay,
there's a
so
basement
you're doing
kitchen.
that. Inga, what are you doing?
So Inga hurried outside and looked both ways, and then down at the ground. Is this a muddy area? We have.
You're going to try and do some tracking, are you? Yeah, I think this
Much
is
as
a
a
sailor's
doctor
area.
can.
It's kind of rocky, but I reckon there's enough mud here.
There's
So
always mud by the sea.
let's make that an investigation roll, shall we? To
All right.
identify those clues.
Got a logic of 3, an investigation of 2. So let's see what the dice will give us today. Roll 2 successes.
2 successes.
Yeah.
You can see her footsteps, and they're her bare feet, because she was in her night dress when she left.
Magnuson, quickly grab her shoes.
You heard the
follow
woman.
these. They're right here. Quickly catch up with me. And
The
she's going to
footsteps
follow.
are going down towards the key.
You wish you. If I may take the liberty, Dr. Inga, I feel we ought to go after Miss August rather than recover her shoes. I can carry her back.
Oh, fine. Of course.
And I'm going to shout to Victor. She's gone this way.
Quickly. Not a scene. Not a scene.
I'm rushing out when I hear this.
So you follow the footsteps down to an area where
Matthew, are there any other footsteps already following this pair of footsteps?
No, this is what I
Okay.
was just about to describe. So
Okay,
she
sorry.
goes alone,
Mhm.
and then in an area by the stenchy herring shed, you can see footsteps in the ground of somebody in shoes that she's meeting. Then, and you can see probably 3, possibly 4 pairs of shoes there. Some of them, at least one of them, quite big shoes, quite a manly man. Then there are no more footsteps.
They just disappear?
Well, you could try another investigation roll, and since you've got 2 people with you, I guess you could add 2 dice to that as you scout around and try and work out where the trail's gone.
Are we still behind the
One
herring shed?
success.
Yeah,
Merely one.
just 1 success.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to give it to you though.
Better than none.
You can still see the male feet in the shoes. No female feet at all, but there's now a mark which I think Magnuson probably recognizes as the track of a barrel being rolled down to the quay.
Ah, okay.
You kind of lose track of that track when it hits the hard wooden surface of the quay itself.
Okay, how many
Barrel.
boats are here?
A barrel.
Yes. A herring barrel. Do you store salted herring
August
in?
hates herring.
It's not her death or anything we're worried about. It's the fact that she's just stuck in amongst.
She can't
herring.
possibly be dead. I can't fathom that right now.
Okay, everybody can make an observation roll while you're looking around for her.
Okay, go back down to 5.
I gain 1 success, Matt.
1 success. You anybody else get any successes?
1 second. I got 1 success. No, sorry, 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. Inga,
Just 1.
just 1. Okay. Victor, you're the one that spots it. The sail of a boat heading out into the further Skagerrak. Putting 2 and 2 together,
I pointed
you
out.
are pretty convinced that the barrel with August in is on that boat.
I want to run to the
Yeah.
boat that we came in on. I'm assuming that's still there,
Mm-hmm.
and I leap on and wake everyone up, shouting,
Yeah,
"Captain!"
okay.
or something like that. Where are you?
Oh, that
And then
boat.
They wake with a start, but the sense of your urgency gets
the-
them shipshape
What's the-
pretty quickly.
What's the skill for sailing?
I'm not sure there is a skill for sailing.
Because I was going to say, as Victor is jumping on board, I'm going to be untying the boat and pushing it away from the quay.
Okay, I'm going to say make a force roll on that one then.
Okay, that's good because I'm quite good at that.
I'll assist.
Okay,
She's
excellent.
so
Thank-
panicked. She's taking
Thank you, Doctor.
responsibility for herself.
Needs must when the devil vomits on your eider down, Dr. Inga, after all. I get 2 successes for that.
2 successes. So what are you explaining, Victor?
I am immediately. I basically point at the ship that we see the sail of, and I say, "We have to follow that vessel. August has been taken."
Now,
And
Captain starts getting really annoyed at the bloke behind you who's untying the ship and pushing it off. But this is all happening while you're explaining the situation to him. So although you can see his face redden and he's starting to get really furious, his finger is raised to say, "Oi!" But then your words get through to him and he simply says to his mate, "Haul up the mainsail, tighten the main brace." I used to be able to actually sail. Why can't I remember any nautical
Other
terms?
sailing
Some other
term.
kind of nautical phrase that Matt can make up off the top of his head.
And he's in this race. And so you sail, not knowing quite where this boat is going to. And it heads out from Doug, are you still there? Can we get the archipelago map up again?
Hey. There we go.
So you are on Wrecker Isle here, and it is heading up past Graveyard Isle, which is, I think, where Orvar has his cabin. Indeed, you can see it, but is heading out these ways to these very small islands. And ahead of you all the time is this boat. Now, it's a glorious morning. It's going to take some time to get out there, though. It's going to be like 3 hours on this sail all the time. Of course, they've got the same wind you've got. You're not particularly gaining on them whatsoever.
Is there anything that we can lighten the load by throwing it overboard?
Well,
It's
But not the crew.
there's a young
It's like
vicar.
a spare vicar.
Spare vicar. Oh, poor man.
Sorry, Victor. It's for the greater good.
No, the other vicar.
What about the other one?
And I'm just trying to work out what happens, but something is going to happen.
Oscar's here with us, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Oscar's in the boat with you. I'm just trying to remember. Yes, here we go. So, you can see in the distance through the skipper's telescope, you can see Zachariah standing at the back of his boat, waving his hands. And then suddenly you can see a wave. The wake of his boat is getting bigger and bigger and bigger as it comes to your boat. And it comes sweeping across your boat. And I want you all to pass a force test or get washed off your boat.
Woo!
So this is he's kind of summoned up a giant wave.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I am tougher than I thought.
I am
Okay.
not very tough.
2 successes.
I got 1 success.
Okay, so you, Inga, you're a sensible person, a person of learning. You've always heard, strap yourself to the mainmast, and you wrap your hands around the mainmast as this wave comes. So you're fine. Magnuson, you're not so learned, but you're strong enough to cling on to the sides of the boat and keep yourself steady. Victor,
I'm trying to show a brave example to Dr. Inga.
Victor's wondering if he can push himself in order to re-roll that.
You might want
there's
to.
always that option. What is the thing you're going to take? The condition you're going to take to push yourself?
What's battered? What does that mean? It's bruised and things, I suppose. I suppose
What they do-
exhaustion is the
It's what they do
obvious
to the
one.
herring, isn't it?
I think exhaustion is going to be the obvious one here, so I'm going to take that rather than the battered, and I get a single success with that.
You get slammed against the side of the boat, totally knocking the wind out of you, and you feel almost that you're going to go in, but suddenly the boat rights itself. And the skipper says, "That weren't natural." But you are all still in the boat, and he rights it, points it, and you sail further towards the island.
Sorry, Inga, go on.
Can I make a learning roll of any sort to know exactly how he did that or what could give him the ability to do such a trick?
Okay. Yes, you can do a learning roll.
Okay.
Luckily, you did spend some time in the library. You were the only player to come back to me saying, I'm going to do some research. This is where it's going to pay some dividends.
No, well, I gathered what I needed to make sure that Dr. Inga was comfortable on the trip. Come on, that's more important.
and you have made a very... She slept really well last night.
did.
She got one success.
One success.
One success. I will give you one bit of information.
Okay.
And that bit of information is here somewhere because there's a list of information. There we go. One success. You are reminded in one of the books in the library, a book that looks a bit like this.
Oh.
You are reminded of a page that you looked at. And of course, with your rational mind, you didn't pay much attention at the time. But it spoke and wrote about mermaids. It is said that they rule over the seas and the creatures living in the depths. And you've heard it happens sometimes that fishermen catch mermaid children in their nets, and then they are raised as humans. Such sea children never stop longing for the sea and often grow up to become excellent swimmers and fishermen. But that's all you can remember for your one learning role.
Okay. So she's like sopping wet. Her normally neat up hair is down. She didn't have time. It's sticking to her face and she's pushing it away and holding on to the mainsail and reaching out to Victor. She's like, I've read something about this. Mermaids. Does anyone know anything about mermaids? Merfolk.
Says the captain. There are many stories hereabouts of mermaids.
Sometimes they're raised as humans. Is there anyone that you know who has a particular longing for the sea or is a really good swimmer? Quickly.
No, all the people I know fear the sea as any good sailor should.
Oh. A particularly talented fisherman, then. The best of the best.
Well,
What about
made
that
the most
old
money out
guy?
of fishing is that fella.
Zacharias.
That explains why he looks so different.
He looks very different from them. And he did say it was when he was young that the business seemed to change.
Yeah.
She's going to reach out and grab onto Victor and like pull him closer to the mainsail just in case another wave comes over.
I'm gonna fish out a dry handkerchief from inside my jacket and give it to Dr. Inga to wipe her brow with.
Perfect. Is the chase still on or did the captain veer off?
Surely, because you got that equipment.
Yeah.
I'm sure you actually had a whole towel secreted in your jacket. Did you not?
Folded carefully.
Not just a little handkerchief.
A little
Given that you reminded me that you chose everything that you needed to make her comfortable, I'll give you a free towel out of your copious inner pockets. Right, so the chase goes on. Being a sailing boat chase, it's quite a slow chase, although it can be quite exciting, as you've already seen. But you get, in the end, to an island that the skipper says is called Deep Reef. And he says it's not on any charts. It's not here all the time. Depends what the tide's doing.
Well, what is the tide doing now?
Well, it's showing the island for a start there.
The tide is low.
So
then,
I'd say the
presumably.
tide's quite low.
Too low for us to get in, I mean.
Not so low, no. I never tried to land a person on it, though. I'll have to sail about it a bit and see where I can land.
Can we not see where they landed?
You can. Yes, they're still some way ahead of you, but you can see their boat.
So, yeah, land there then.
Seems like a good spot.
So wise.
Cut through all the bullshit, you know. It's just like...
I don't know where to go. I'll just go around the whole island.
It's 10 to 11, so yes. Lands there. And they have made their way away from this spot across the island somewhere. Would any person of science like to make another learning roll, though, about this island?
Can I do one, or does someone else have to do it?
Why would somebody else have to do it? You're the most scientific person here, I'm guessing.
Perfect. I didn't know if I just knew everything I already knew from my one roll. But let's do this. Let's see.
Well, this isn't from your research you did before.
Oh. So what roll is this?
Just a learning roll, though.
Learning roll? Okay.
Can I help if we're talking about it?
Yes, you can. Give her a dice.
Oh,
So I think like Sherlock Holmes and Watson, you just kind of tell me what you're thinking, and then I kind of nod at the right kind of moment. Oh,
I failed, but I'm going to push myself.
What's the condition you're taking?
It has to be mental. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Afraid, frightened, and I failed again.
All right.
August would be really good
for
at
this. I will give you. You cannot recognize the rock that this island is made of.
Okay.
All the other islands in the archipelago are granite in some form of compression or extrusion or intrusion or whatever all the different geographical terms are. This is nothing like that, but you can't work out what it is.
Okay. This whole place doesn't make sense. It's not granite. It's not shale. I don't know what this is. What is this place? Where is August?
Does Dr. Inga smoke?
She could potentially smoke.
So
but
I'm going to
only
take
at the worst of times.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the cigarillo case out of my pocket, open it, and offer her a cigarette to try and calm her nerves, and then light it for her. Kaboom.
It looks like she was maybe starting to slip away, and that this is starting to settle her nerves back down.
I just want to say the skipper says, "But I've got a cargo full of dynamite, you fool!" But he hasn't, sadly, because that might be.
You were fishing for herring.
Well, that's one method.
That's one way to do it,
yeah. So anyway, you sail into the port. The others have gone over across the island somewhere. You're following them, I'm guessing, as you do all this. The skipper, I guess, is going to stay with his boat. And I think probably it's just the three of you that cross the island. And as you cross the island, you see Zachariah paddling in this bit of the island really does have a long, low, sloping shore. So he's got his trousers rolled up and he is paddling in the sea like a 5-year-old as you crest over the top of the island and look down the hill to the shore where he is. Next to him are the whole family, the godmother and the two brothers, and a barrel between the two brothers.
I'm drawing my revolver.
Okay. You are somewhat frightened, though, by the appearance of a creature suddenly coming, swimming into shore, and then shuffling up the shore. A splash, and then another, and then the creature, a woman with long flowing hair and a fishtail instead of legs. She's unspeakably beautiful and yet horrible and terrifying. She slides up on the shore about 10 meters from Zacharias, smiling enigmatically at her son. You must all make a fear test with a fear value of 1. So roll against logic or empathy. August, you don't have to. You're in a barrel. You're just making a fear test of a fear value of
the
herring.
one bonus of being in the barrel, August.
It's fine.
3 5s.
Everything in the barrel is fine.
Right. Okay. So, Inga, you are struck with terror. Magnuson,
I got 1 success on my.
that's
4
all you
dice.
need. Victor,
My brave
1.
talent saved me.
1. Okay. Yeah. You are. You know, it's scary, but you are fine. You're keeping it together. Inga, on the other hand, you have to make that choice of your fear reaction.
I think I'm going to get angry.
You're gonna get
Mm.
well. So that's the
Oh,
condition you take, but you've
condition.
also got to take a
A fear.
Ooh.
an actual terrified reaction. Roll a
Okay.
d6 while I'm looking this up.
Okay. 3.
3. So for the next 3 rounds, you must either run away, freeze here, immobile, faint, or attack something.
Oof. I think she's going to freeze. That was her gut reaction last time. I'll keep it consistent.
Okay. So what are you two doing around her? Are you going to leave her here? She suddenly can't step any closer to the shore.
And how far from this scene are we? Are we within talking or shouting distance?
It's quite a small island. You could probably shout. Yes, not talking distance. You are probably within shooting distance if you choose to do so.
Yeah. Not yet. Did you want to invoke the Lord, Victor, before anything else? Is that not going
Yes,
to be very
actually.
helpful, do you think, right now?
No, I
Knowing God's track
you're
record around
holding-
here.
you're holding your pistol, and
Yep.
I sort of signal for you to hand it to me, and I bless your pistol with some sort of ritual, and then hand it back to you.
Okay.
You're turning this into the holy hand grenade of
Yes.
Antioch.
And
Yeah.
And what does a
adds,
blessing do?
Player character or anyone using the object gains the blessed advantage, adding +2 to a test of their choice. It
Excellent.
expires
One
upon
test.
use.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm imagining you're wrapping maybe even Carl's crucifix around the barrel
Yes.
as you incant the Lord's Prayer or something.
Yes.
Very well. Okay. So that's one action. Inga is still just petrified. Down at the bottom, you can see them opening up the barrel, and a very groggy young August, totally disarray. I mean, she's pretty much always in disarray, but she hasn't spent most mornings, I think, she hasn't spent rolling around in a barrel down onto a beach and then sailing in the sea and stuff like that. So she is probably, I think, to be honest, covered in a bit of vomit as well. She looks a state. She's only wearing a nightdress and her bare feet, remember. And what are they doing with her?
Well, as they're doing that, I'm going to step forward with the gun pointed in their direction, saying, "This is unholy, this is immoral, this is wrong. Release August and release the mermaid child from your control."
Okay, Zachariah looks at you and shouts back. Nobody stops doing anything, but he said, "Fools! You don't know what you're doing! These sacrifices are a small price to pay for the riches we receive in return. Herring, the rich silver of the sea! By denying the sea its sacrifices and breaking our covenant, you'll doom the whole archipelago and all its people to poverty, starvation, and death. I beg of you, be sensible.
I'm saying the archipelago survived perfectly well before this abomination was being enacted. It'll survive perfectly well afterwards. You must release the poor creature and let it return to the water where it belongs.
Okay, that's another round gone. So you got one more
okay.
round, Inga, of being petrified.
Feel free to back me up, Vicar.
Well, I spent my action blessing your pistol.
It's not a water pistol now. As somebody put in the chat.
Where are we? Meanwhile, the mermaid is calling to you, August. A song that she starts to sing, a song more beautiful than anything you have ever heard. I'm going to roll a bunch of dice here. You can roll observation to recognize that she's calling you to your doom.
Okay.
If you succeed against her magic, then you may break out of her spell.
Out of the trance.
But she is rolling a lot of dice for her magic. Okay, what did you get?
If I push again, will that make me broken? As I've already got 2 mental effects.
No, you can take a third effect and then the fourth one makes you broken.
All right. I'm going to try. I'm going to push. Really straining.
Right, but remember, you've got 2 mental effects, so you've...
Yeah. I'm already... That's what... Yeah, so I'm only rolling 3 dice here.
Okay.
Which is why I was worried about pushing...
Have you got any successes in this round?
I've got 1 success.
Right, so roll the other 2 dice and you want to get another 2 successes.
Oh, no, that I've already... with the roll, my first roll,
with the
0.
roll,
With the push, I get 1.
The song is too sweet. You are stepping willingly into the sea.
Can I see that she's looking entranced by this? And
to you, it looks damned odd that anybody should climb out of a barrel where she's obviously been kidnapped and walk towards the sea. But you got to admit, the music, you can hear the song of the mermaid. It is very beautiful.
Okay, I'm going to use my 2 extra dice with my blessed gun, and I'm going to shoot August. And I'm going to try and wing her to cause pain to bring her out of the trance.
Magnuson! This is what this snapping out of it.
It's going to snap you out of it when this happens.
So, sorry, Dr. Inga, I'm taking the liberty. Click, bang.
Right, do you know what? I've never actually done a gunshot in this game. I can't.
I'm simply trying to wound her so she breaks out of it.
I'm just trying to think how this is going to go.
Shoot to maim.
It's going to be ranged combat, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I reckon this is... what sort of range is this? This isn't close range. It is only a pistol.
Or can I use an action to move closer so I get rid of a range negative? Or can I aim?
You can...
So you can spend a fast action to move within the next zone. And then your attack with your ranged weapon is a slow action.
Yeah, so I can do both.
Yeah.
If moving will take away a range negative, then I'll do that.
Yeah,
so I want to get as close as I can to give me the best chance.
Charge forward and shoot August.
But I'm trying to just shoot you in the leg or something. I'm not trying to blow your head off.
I don't know.
There's quite a big artery in the leg.
In the lower leg, then. And we have got a doctor on hand.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Right, have a shot.
So, do I get any bonus for the weapon or anything?
You get the +2
Oh,
from
it says
the
+2. It says +2 for the gun on my character sheet.
right. Then it's a +2 bonus.
And
Okay,
then
that's
the
excellent because that gives me.
+2 for the blessing.
Yeah, I got the blessing, so that gives me a few dice.
Was this what you had in mind when you blessed the gun?
Not quite what I was
Okay.
imagining.
Okay, I've got 2 successes on 8 dice.
Right. Okay. I am going to let
Hang on.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's fine.
I'm
I'm not going to push it. I was thinking of pushing it.
No, you don't want to kill her.
No. The point is, I guess the more successes I get, I can use the stunts to wing her rather than to do damage. Can I? I want to cause maximum pain but minimum damage.
Okay, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to fudge this roll. I'm going to make you roll a critical injury, but I'm going to say you can roll 2 critical injuries because you got 2 successes,
Yeah.
and choose the lower one.
Okay. I'll read yellow first. Are these as bad and horrible as they are in Coriolis and Alien?
Yeah, pretty much.
56 and 55.
Sorry, Billy. I'm not trying to kill you.
It's all right.
So the first one's 42. The second one's 21. So I go with 21.
Okay, yes. So you do just wing her with 21. You can write down a defect. You are disfigured by this.
No.
Oh no! Okay. No, that's a scar.
Right across the face.
It's a scar on your leg. It's not on your face. I was shooting low. No.
But the ocean moves. That's the problem.
Next time we see August, she'll have a walking stick.
But a defect sometimes gives you a bit of insight as well. So we'll worry about that in the next adventure.
I've done you a favour then.
But yes, but also say that it stops you from the pain of the bullet striking your cheek so close has brought you to your senses.
Yeah, I guess she screams and suddenly realizes everybody's not her best friends, and she stood in the sea in a nightie, which is not a good look. If she has the opportunity and now she has regained her senses, she will run back towards her friends.
Okay, so I think everything's going to happen. I think we may have to make some actual initiative rolls now, or draw cards. Give me a moment and I'll get our cards out.
Is it 1 to 10 like Alien and that for this? Okay. Yeah, I'll get my cards out.
Oh, okay.
So,
Sorry.
I'm going to draw cards. Oh, you want to draw your own card, do you, Dave?
Oh, I don't mind. No, I'm happy for you to draw it. I just
I will hold this in front of the world.
Yeah,
and
I'm happy for you to draw it. Yeah.
I'll give it a shuffle. Dave, you're going 4. on 4s.
Yeah.
Victor, you're going on 10s, so last. Inga, you're going on 2s. Ooh. And August, you're going on 3s. And 2, 3, 4, they are going on 1.
Was this deck shuffled?
It wasn't shuffled.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 10. I did move the 10.
It's a perfectly legitimate random.
It was 4, 10, 2, 3, 1. Actually, so it was a bit shuffled.
Okay.
Let you off.
So they're gonna. The 2 brothers are trying to restrain you. Can you make a force test against theirs?
Are they in the ocean?
Well, she's running out of the ocean.
Okay.
They're not particularly in the ocean. Zacharias is, but they're on the shore keeping their feet dry. So they're trying to kind of catch her as she runs towards you guys. And I will have one of them do it and the other one try and help. Oh, crikey.
Don't like it when the GM says, "Oh, crikey."
Mm-mm.
This is the most dice I've rolled in this game.
I've got 3.
You got 3 successes?
No, just 3 dice.
3 dice.
3 dice, okay. Well, roll those 3 dice. They only got 1 success.
Oh,
Come on, Millie.
I didn't get any either.
Right, so they grab you, and restrain you. At the same time, Zacharias is shouting at you, "Fools, fools! You'll bring ruin to the town, the whole archipelago. Just nobody cares. We've made 1 sacrifice a month for the most of my life."
Quite a lot.
Who's going on 2s?
I am.
Dr.
No,
Inga.
yes, I am. And she's
And you can go now.
all right. Perfect.
Mhm.
So a change definitely comes over Dr. Inga, and she goes,
Oh no.
"Is that
No,
what happened
calm
to your
down,
brother?"
Doctor.
And she's gonna start stalking forward. And so I'm gonna do my fast action and move forward, just like
Mhm.
shoulders tense, the wind starting to dry her hair as she just stares these brothers down that are holding on to August. She'll say, "Is that what happened to your brother? Was he any funnier than the 2 of you?" And she's trying to like kind of intimidate them. So I'm hoping to make them manipulate checks so they drop August.
Okay, I will let you do that for the sheer audacity of it and the fact that we're running over. What's your manipulation?
My manipulation is swap back my character sheet. I've got a 1 and then a 3 in empathy. And so let me roll my dice.
This is what happens when Dr.
Oh,
Inga
but I'm
doesn't have
taking-
a tea in the morning.
Yes, I need my tea in the morning. And I'm taking 1 less die, correct? Because of my
Yes, you got 1 mental.
yes.
Have
Is it?
you still?
I
Have you
think
had
I'm
one
at
this
2.
morning?
I think I have
Yes,
2.
you have. Yes, yeah.
Okay,
You
I'll
got
roll
1
2
mental.
dice.
Yeah.
I failed. I've got 5s.
They laugh and they say, the vicar shot himself, so we sacrifice Paul instead. Somebody has to die. Somebody has to feed the sea.
Why would the vicar do such a thing? That makes no sense.
He didn't want to be sacrificed.
Yeah.
He shot himself as soon as we opened the barrel.
And next time it's going to be you. You realize that, right? You're
August.
despicable.
August, it's your turn.
I'm
You can.
Gonna-
All you can do is try and get out of their grip.
yeah, I want to try and get out of them, and I'll bite and kick and stuff. Is this another force test?
Yep, afraid so.
1.
Well,
Hey.
obviously, Inga's words has had some effect. They started explaining all that. They obviously weren't keeping hold of you tight enough. I've rolled 11 dice and got no successes. So yes, you do break free.
Break free and run away if I can.
Okay. Dave, your turn.
Flash.
I'm gonna basically walk forward and cover August as she's running towards us or past me, and I'm gonna point the gun at the brothers and say, "All right, which one of you is being sacrificed this time?" And I'm pulling the hammer back.
And Zacharias interrupts and says, "No, don't shoot them. They have to go in willingly."
Willingly.
Everyone just gestures down to August, like, willingly?
She was kind of stood there willingly for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sort
not
of.
really not. You weren't really given a free choice, no, were you?
They can't be dead anyway. They can't already be dead.
What does the mermaid gain in all of this? I'm shouting.
Love, I think, something like that. Mermaids are kind of, alien to our way of thinking.
Mermaids can have love without sacrificing people. Surely, can't we?
Surely mermaids don't need a lover every month. A new one. Make do with the old, please.
Just get married for 20 years. You won't need any of them. That's why Magnus is obviously
island.
single.
Is shaking under your feet.
Mm.
And Zachariah says, "Oh, it's too late. You're waking the Kraken."
Oh, no.
Do we know what the Kraken is, Dr. Inga?
Learning?
No.
Nope. I failed my learning earlier, apparently.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you can feel the whole island beneath you move,
I think we should leave. don't you?
rising
Yes.
up out of the ground. Everybody make a fear test against a fear factor of 2.
Oh,
Oh, this
dear.
is going to be difficult. Okay.
Do my
that's-
conditions reduce my ability to?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's, don't.
They do reduce your fear, do they? Okay.
Does
No.
failing a fear test also give you a mental condition?
Yes, I think it does. Yeah. I hope I'm right there. That's actually one thing that I haven't checked. Let me get my book. Since this might be.
Oh, I need to re-roll.
I've got 1 success.
One success. I fail. No!
We needed 2 successes, though, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Can we push
So-
that roll?
No, I don't think you can.
No. So I'm just saying, Matt, I think it says here, on failing a terrified roll, you become terrified. Roll a 6-sided die and see how many rounds. It doesn't say that you take a condition. Oh, no. Oh, it says when you become terrified, you suffer a number of mental conditions equal to the fear value.
Right.
I'm
So we
broken.
take 2.
I'm broken.
I'm broken.
Okay, so I haven't rolled yet.
I think I'm frightened and hopeless, I think. Or frightened and angry. I'm angry.
I've got
actually, yeah.
1 success,
Okay.
which isn't enough. is
That's
it?
not enough. You need 2 successes.
So then we take two more conditions.
2 mental
Take
conditions, yeah.
2 mental conditions, and each of you roll a d6.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I've got 3.
1.
We're gonna need a new writer.
We're going to need a doctor.
We're going to need a new group.
I think you're going to need to do.
And now I'm just the writer or over.
So, sorry, what were your d6s, gentlemen?
3 for me.
3,
5.
1, a 5. Oh, cold. So, Victor, you come out. I'm not worrying about what your actual reaction was, because it's all meaningless when the very earth beneath your feet is rising out of the sea. But you're the first person to do something about it. I think I'm going to wrap this up pretty much now. And
Imminent death.
Doug, can you show everybody the picture of the Kraken that we've got here?
Oh no!
It looks like
So you
Cthulhu.
see tentacles rising out of the sea.
That's not Kraken, it's Cthulhu. No.
The world, it appears to be ending effectively, and you eventually, all of you, find yourself in the sea. I will give you the opportunity to not be broken, or whatever your condition was, but you have to pass a force test to survive.
Is that only for broken people? Because I'm not broken.
No. What I'm now saying is,
Everyone.
you you could not defeat this monster because it's a whole island. So your actions, whatever you might have done there, when everybody gets dunked in the sea, they wake up from their broken state, as it were, as with you all. But now, anybody who succeeds in a force test doesn't drown.
So, do I take minuses to this
So-
for being mentally?
No, the physical
Physical.
conditions will give you minuses,
I
but
don't
not
think I have
mental.
any physical conditions.
Which is good because I get 1 success.
2 successes.
1 success.
I've got no successes. Can I push?
Magnuson!
You can push. Go ahead.
I can push. Okay. I'm going to be exhausted then, but I get to push. I've got 7 dice as well.
Ow!
I
With
must
my
get
2
a 6.
successes, can I help Magnus?
Yes. No, I got 2 this time.
Okay.
Whew.
So
I'm exhausted.
when the island started shaking, the skipper obviously got off on the boat, and when you guys are floundering in the sea and almost drowning, the skipper comes and picks you up, and Oscar pulls you into the boat, exhausted in whatever state you're in, and all your mental states as well, and the island is gone, and so have the herring.
And the family, are they all
And
gone?
they've all disappeared as well.
Never to be seen again.
Well, I don't know. You didn't kill any of them, did you?
No.
Are they drowned when the Kraken awoke, or has he taken them into their embrace and saved them? That will be possibly a sequel at some later stage. But that's
As we're sailing back, I'm gonna kind of exhaustedly say to Dr. Inga, if I may take the liberty, and I'm going to crawl over to Miss August and apologise profusely for having to shoot her.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that
Inga wanted
happened.
to reference
Permanent
this.
disfigured.
Inga sits up and she looks over at Magnuson and just water draining from her hair and her dress and forming a pool around her. And she's going to glare at him and just, I thought you were only going to shoot bad guys.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I had to take the liberty on that one.
But you all miraculously survive, which
Cool. Woo!
unconscionable generosity on my part.
Yes!
It's very unusual.
Won't let it happen again.
So generous!
Oh, that was great. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of that session. I'm going to remind folks that if you are watching this right now and like to pick up a copy of, let me just grab my book over here. Oh, Wicked, Secret, and Strange, and Other Mysteries. It is available for sale on the Free League web store. Go to freeleaguepublishing.com, and if you want to pick up this as well as the new expansion for Borg, right now, if you buy these both together, you get a discount on it, which is awesome.
And that's
I think
carrying on till Halloween.
Halloween, I believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Cool.
definitely get those. You might as well, if you wanted both of those anyway, you get a little bit of discount anyway. So that's awesome. The other thing I was going to say is, where should folks find more Effekt content? Because I'm sure if they've tuned in all the way to this end, where should they go to find more content that Matthew and David put out?
That way. No, that way.
There.
That way. There.
On
Between the two
my
of us.
screen, it's there.
So yeah. Look for us on Twitter at Effekt Podcast. Online, we have 2 podcasts. We have effektpodcast.org. Effekt spelt with a K. And that's our magazine show. Comes out roughly every 2 weeks. And we've got effektap.org. And again with a K. And that's our actual play feed. And at the moment, we're having a great version of, well, I say great. I did have a rage quit halfway through this.
It's a great
Alien Destroyer of Worlds.
It's our playtest of Destroyer of Worlds, which is a slightly different scenario because it changed between the playtest and the
After my rage quit,
published.
that's when it changed.
No. We won't bore you with the reason why he rage quit, but it was a bit of a moment.
That's great.
I was very cross. Anyway, so we're playing Destroyer of Worlds, and it's a version of Destroyer of Worlds you do not have because it's
But it's unique.
before the changes were made.
Very cool.
And you can also catch us on our own much less followed YouTube channel. And if we had 3,000 followers, I'd be a very happy man. And
Me too.
generally, every Monday there, we're doing Coriolis, Mercy of the Icons, and occasionally some other stuff as well.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, I wanted to say thank you to the community that tuned in, and we crossed 2,900 subscribers as this session was going on. So thank you so much for everyone for being a part of that and helping us grow the community here on YouTube. We really appreciate that just so much. It's been awesome being able to do all these events digitally, and yeah, we just want to create more and more content for folks that love Free League games, because we're kind of sad that we can't get together in person. So at least this way we can still connect and be with.
This year, David and I were gonna go to Essen.
I hope so. I hope so. Absolutely.
Next year, maybe.
Absolutely. Does anybody
Can I
else
say
want to...
thank you to all our players? Yes.
Oh,
Do you guys want to promote something or?
Yeah, I would love to. You can find me on Twitter at Amperama Streams. I'll update my thing right here. I guest on shows all around the internet. My most recent venture is I have formed a partnership with Level 1 Geek, and we just hit affiliate on Twitch. So if you feel like following us there, it is Level 1 Geek, LVL1 Geek, all one word. And we love to promote indie TTRPGs. So we do a lot of reviews and one-shots, and then a couple of campaigns. Yeah.
Cool.
I just want to say you should subscribe to the Effekt podcast. I've been listening to the actual play of the Alien stuff, and I'm loving it. So go subscribe to them.
Thank you.
Millie, you've got your own AP podcast, haven't you?
I do, yes. I've been podcasting. It's called Roll to Hit, and of course we can't spell things normally at all anywhere. So it's ROLE, as in the roll to hit. I'm publishing Destroyer of Worlds right now as well. So if you want to hear 5 Brits do the published version, that's what we're in the middle of right now. And that's what we get up to. And cool. Can I plug my Free League workshop? I've got some stuff.
Yes, let's plug
it. Absolutely. And that's a good lead into tomorrow. We're actually doing a panel about the Free League workshop, and you're going to be seeing Dave come back and join us for that.
Exciting!
David's such an expert in the Free League workshop.
Because David.
So much.
Well, hang on.
Millie, what have you published on this?
Millie, let's talk about your product, and then we'll give Dave a good razzing after.
So I've got 3 Tales from the Loop mysteries on the Free League workshop, which are actually based on folklore and like, so the Boggart, the Barghast, and the Witch are all on there. So it kind of like
local folklore for a local loop, as it were, from
the northwest.
Northwest UK. So they're all on there. They're on, and I got Copper Sellers recently.
Cool. Yay!
Congratulations!
Yeah.
And I've got 2 things on the web with John Felquist. John and I have created a Coriolis calendar, which is a vital tool for every Coriolis GM or frankly player. Everybody should get it. That's a copper seller too. And I've also got the adventure that these guys did last time we were playing Vaesen together, which is a summer in December, and that's there as well. Dave, what have you got on? You've got something,
Dave,
haven't you? Because I took some of your work and put it on, didn't I?
So let's back up a little bit. So Dave doesn't actually have anything on the Free League workshop.
Well, I have one thing.
Which is, you've got one thing?
Trade in the Coriolis in the Third Horizon, which is the first thing that Matt and I put up, which was
it was the very first thing on the workshop, in fact, because it went up slightly by accident for some reason.
But yeah, so that's on there. I haven't put anything else on there yet. I just haven't had time because I've been too busy writing Alien games for conventions and for Free League and a bit of Twilight 2000. So yeah, but I will put some stuff up on there in due course.
And that was kind of one of the reasons why we brought you on, was because I know that you've worked with the Alien franchise and that rule set quite a bit, and it's always nice to see all of you like become podcasters and designers, and that's a great way to get into the industry is just kind of homebrewing stuff and creating it on your own and being part of that community, and then just kind of grows from there. And it's been really nice to see both David Dave and Matthew both have dipped into the publication part of things in the professional side of the hobby.
So Doug,
Yes.
when are you and Dave talking about that?
We're talking that tomorrow.
What
Tomorrow.
time tomorrow?
You're not joining us,
there's so many
though.
different time zones, but it's 9 a.m. my time.
I think
it's
it's 1400 BST, British Summer Time.
right.
2 o'clock.
2
3
o'clock.
o'clock, I think, Swedish time.
So
I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure what that works out for Essen. Is that CET? Is that Central
CET,
European?
Essen,
So
yeah.
I think
so,
it's
yeah.
3 o'clock Central European time. Yeah.
I think so. But what I'm going to tell folks is if you make sure you don't want to miss it, you just hit that subscribe button down below and hit that little bell notification. When you do it, you'll get notified every single time we go live or upload new content. And we've got 2 more days after today to bring you some Essen digital or Spiel.dIgital content. So we're really excited for that. Thank you, everyone, for giving your time and being a part of this session. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Time is, of course, our greatest asset. So I appreciate everyone that gives it to us here on the Free League YouTube channel. That's going to close out day 1 of Spiel.dIgital. Thank you so much. Be safe and be well, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Thank you, Doug. You've organised so much today.
Yes,
and
thank
the
you,
next
Doug.
2
Yeah,
days.
as ever. Yeah.
Always our loyal producer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's very kind.